Hello. It is Babelet time. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Cree. Hi, Taz. Hi, BNG. Hi, Robert. Hello, everyone that is here. Welcome back. It's been a while. We haven't done Kenzie. I'm excited. We have some stuff to talk about though. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But please make sure you guys hit the like button. Please, please, please. We're trying to grow the channel and we can only get into the algorithm if you hit that like button. So I would really appreciate that. What else? Big news with Kenzie Shirilla. It's kind of I'm a little stuck because those of us babelets who have been here from day one, right? We already know like a lot of everything about this case. A lot of everything. We know the real truth, right? And it's going to be a little controversial because there is a documentary coming out of this case. I know it's crazy. Let's talk about it. Also, please make sure you have your notifications turned on. We might be back tonight to review some body cam footage. I miss those late night lives, so we should get back into it. Let me see who is here. Melly, I'm counting. I know it's been a while. I can't remember the last time we did a Kenzie live, but I figured we should get back to it since the documentary is coming out. And we did start the second reading of text messages. If you're not aware, I know there's probably going to be a lot of new people to the being introduced to the case. And then Netflix documentary is also going to twist people's mind, right? So that's why I'm like, okay, we might be covering stuff that we've already covered in terms of the Mackenzie Shirilla case. But for those of us who are here for it, we're here for it. We're passionate about the case. And what I mean by passionate is we're not here to be disrespectful and we're not mocking the case as we read and as I read these text messages to you guys. It's a great way that we have been able to get a look into their relationship. And in my opinion, I think that it shows who Kenzie really is and what was going on. And it's something that we've dealt with before. We have children who deal with it. I don't have children, but you might have children who have been in a toxic relationship. We might have been in a toxic relationship ourselves. So I can appreciate that those text messages were released through FOIA, but also um I want to remain respectful and we are supporters of the Russo family here. So I do want to say that and just remind everyone of that as you come in, enjoy the content because we have covered a lot, right? Body cam, text messages, TikToks, well, actually, we haven't covered the TikToks, but we have covered the Snapchats, the Instagrams. We've covered a lot of Kenzie. I have over 90 lives or videos between lives and videos. So eat your heart out. I'm going to be releasing a lot of Kenzie content this week because the documentary does come out this Friday. So let's talk about the documentary. Are you going to watch it? Because I know that the real true Babelets will absolutely watch it. I don't have Netflix, so I'm going to have to get Netflix to watch this. And you bet your ass, yes, I am going to watch it. Um, I want to stream it, and it's a big no-no on the YouTube. So I need to find somewhere else where maybe we could stream it without it being an issue. Um, I would love to stream that. I feel from what I've heard, that I think this documentary might try to like paint Dom in a bad picture, and I hope that's not the case because I will be pissed. I'll absolutely be pissed. These text messages are a great window into looking into who was the toxic out of both of them, and I truly believe in my heart that if Kenzie wasn't so toxic, um, Dom wouldn't have been as toxic either. Um, so let's get into it. We left off on December, the last day of December of 2020, and we're starting January 2021 of the text messages. So let's see how far we can get into it tonight. Let me pull up the text messages. I will watch. I hope people watch so they know how not to parent. Yeah, I know, but I think I'm a little worried about you know how documentaries are when they, like, change stuff up? And I know that although maybe some of the Russos participated in it, I know that they didn't, like, have a lot to do with the documentary, and that concerns me, and I don't know if Natalie Shirilla or the Shirillas had what their extent of being involved in it was, but I just hope that it does point out the truth because we know the truth. We've read the paperwork here, the police reports, with the body cam footage. If I review it this week, it's going to be 3 times that we've had a review of that on my channel. I've been talking about this case since 2024. So we've seen it, right? I would hate to see things on there not be true. Um, but I guess we'll find out for sure. There's a documentary. Yes. So if you weren't aware, there is a documentary dropping on Friday. It's called The Crash, and it's basically a documentary on this case. And I did. Yeah, I've actually talked to her, Alicia. I'm so forward to watching it. I will be done watching the morning of the 15th. I know, me too. I know. I can't wait. Thanks to Melly, we know the truth. Well, I'm not the only one that has covered the text messages, but I'm probably the only one that's gone over it numerous times, right? It's a lot. Let's not forget it's 32,000, almost 32,000 pages of text messages, and we already did it once, and we're doing it again twice. I haven't been here from the beginning, but I have done a deep dive. Yeah, I've covered a lot of it, so um, you could always get a lot of it from the playlist. Let's get started. We left off on December 30th at 8:07 a.m. Dom, I'm a little nervous about the documentary. Let's watch together if we can, says Eddie. Oh, hey Nikki, good to see you. If I missed you, Nemo sign. Um, hell yeah, I'm excited. I want to watch it together with you guys. Is that something I can do on Discord? That might be something I can do on Discord. Oh my god, we should totally do it on Discord. That would be you can stream on it really? Like what? Like Kick and Rumble? I thought that it was always copyright. I know Netflix is big. Netflix is big on copyright. So I figured I didn't know if it was like I don't oh yes. I've never been on like Kick or Rumble. Don't even tell me about Twitch because I have never even visited the site, the actual like platform. I know I visited Kick and Rumble. You can screen record and drop it, but they might take it down. That's my thing. I think like internally, like they do take it down. No way, Patreon? Really? Because I have a Patreon that I'm about to release. So we could always do it on Patreon. Let's look that up. Because I would love to watch that with those of you who have been following this, especially with me, who have been here from like day oneers. You guys are right. I might be able to do it on another platform for sure. You cannot directly embed or stream Netflix through Patreon's video player, but creators often use third party. Like what? Yeah, I'm not like good at with those like gaming or like Kick and Rumble. I guess I'll have to look into it later. Let's get into the text messages. I'll look into it and see if because that would be so cool if we could watch that together. Oh, thank you, Nemo sign. That would be great. Yeah, I don't have Netflix, so I definitely will have to get it too. I watch a streamer who does it on YouTube. Okay, I'll look into it. I'll look into it tonight and then I'll post it in the community and I'll start getting a roll on it, baby. Get my ass on it. I'll drop the links or whatever whatever I decide to do. I think on Discord I could do it for sure. I don't have a Discord. Okay. Actually, Evie, you should. Do you want me to email? Yes, you can, please. Okay, let's continue. I'll have messages up on here. So we left off on December 30th. Dom says, "Good morning, babe. I love you. I think you should Wim Hof this morning. I haven't in a while. I'm about to." Kenzie says, "Morning, babe. I love you. How do I do it?" He doesn't respond. She says, "Babe." He says, "Get the app." She says, "Let me know when I can come hang." Dom says, "Okay, babe." She says, "Okay, babe, right now." He doesn't respond. She says, "Babe." He says, "What, babe?" He says, "I'm getting in the shower. I might stop by Trevor's." Kenzie says, "FaceTime." He doesn't respond. Or maybe he FaceTimes her. Who knows? She says then at like an hour later, "Hi, babe. On the way back." Dom says, "Nice. You get lavender?" Kenzie says, "Yes, other things too." She says, "When do you want to hang?" Dom says, "I don't know. I'm a slide to Trevor soon." Kenzie says, "Go now so we can hang." Dom says, "Okay." Kenzie says, "Babe," at 1:51 p.m. Dom says, "I think we're pulling up at B's around 5 to 6, but don't tell Kristen." Kenzie says, "LOL. Okay, I won't." She says, "LMAO." Dom says, "LOL. Hopefully she doesn't come or has work and just Kyle comes." Kenzie says, "I don't care. I don't really care if she comes. Whatever's better for you. How long you gonna be busy?" He doesn't respond. She says, "Babe." Dom says, "Home." She says, "Yay, can I come over soon?" Dom says, "Yeah." She says, "Like now?" "I gotta drive Kendra home at 4:02 p.m." She says, "Babe, can we go?" Oh, okay. She says, "Babe, can we go?" So it jumps to 8:20 p.m. Then she says, "Where are you at 9:06 p.m.?" She says, "Where are you at 11:05 p.m.?" Dom says, "Can't find vacuum." Kenzie says, "LMAO, just come back." Dom says, 480 views on my story the next morning at 9:59 a.m. Kenzie sends a TikTok link. At 11:33 a.m. And then at 3:03, she says, "I'm out. Are you out also?" Dom says, "Yeah, just got out. I still have to stop by Trevor's." Kenzie says, "Oh, forgot about that." Dom says, "But I'm gonna get dressed real quick and go there." "Me too," he says. Kenzie says, "That's fine. Should I just tell Kendra to put money in the mailbox?" Dom says, "I would have been quicker if I remembered." Kenzie says, "And you'll drop it off?" Dom says, "No, me and you can do it." On the way to 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆's Tacos, he says at 3:10 p.m. Kenzie says, "Okay, bet." Yay. Dom says, "𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆's gonna be fire. I hope it isn't stupid packed." Kenzie says, "Right? I've never been there." Should I curl my hair up, half down, or leave it straight? LMAO. Dom says, LMAO what? She says, "You made a funny ass sound when you hung up the phone at 4:17 p.m. Dom says, "Oh, I know. I made a funny ass sound, then my phone died." LMAO. Kenzie says, "It was funny. I thought you just hung up on me, to be honest." He doesn't respond. She says, "Where you at 7:09 p.m.? Dom says, "Talking to Scotty and my mom." She says, "Where you at 8:56 p.m.? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then it jumps to the next morning at 10:47 a.m. Morning, babe. Dom says, "Good morning, babe. I love you." Kenzie says, "Love you, babe. What are you doing?" Sends TikTok links. Dom says, "I seen that shit. I don't know. I don't care. Now all animals getting abused. Don't let your cats by me or I'll kick one of them." I don't know what she says, "Okay, I guess. Bye, babe." I think I don't know if that was a joke or what, but she says, "Or did your phone die?" "Oh, it didn't." Let's go back and look at what time that was. I wonder what TikTok that was too. Probably have the TikTok. Um, I can only see a guy wearing a purple shirt. I don't know what that means. She says, "Okay, I guess bye, babe," at 12:36 p.m. Or did your phone die? Oh, it didn't. Dom says, "Bye, babe." Sends a screenshot of something. Dom says, "Why is like most of this me? Why is like most of this me?" Kenzie says, "I love you, babe. I want you to be happy. You should try to talk to a therapist if you really think that's what it is." Oh, okay. So they were fighting. Too bad we can't see that screenshot. Hmm. So they were hanging out and something must have happened. Let's go back. What were they doing? Weren't they hanging out with their friends? "Love you, babe. What are you doing?" She said. Something must have happened where we didn't see them in the text messages. He says, "I seen that shit. Something about animals being abused." She says, "Okay, I guess. I gotta go by." So I wonder if she was over there? She says, "Or did your phone die?" Oh, it didn't. Dom says, "Bye, babe." Sends a screenshot. He says, "Why is like most of this me?" And that's when she says, "I love you, babe. I want you to be happy. You should try to talk to a therapist if you really think that's what it is." Dom says, "If I hear the word therapist one more time, I'm gonna throw Smokey in the dryer machine." Oh shit. She says, "Okay, I'm just trying to be here for you, babe. I love you, babes." He says, "I love you too, babes. I really hate the word therapist and doctor and be happy or it's okay." So I wonder if she was over there and they got in a fight. Ma- Makilla killed the cats and the dog took attention away from her. This was before he started trying really hard on trying to fix her. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to drop it. I hate Makilla. That's okay because they're cracking jokes. Hey, Q. So annoying. I know she is annoying. Um, yeah, I'll drop it. He's not in a good space. No, he's not. Let's see. She says, "Okay, babe, I won't say any of that." He says, "Or anything along the line of apology or promise, or I accept your apology." Kenzie says, "What's your plan then, babe?" Dom says, "For what?" She emphasizes an image. She says, "That." Dom said, "What's that?" Kenzie said, "Never mind, babes. My mom wants me to go to the mall with her. And when do you want to hang?" Dom says, "I don't know. I don't know about today." Kenzie says, "If you want to be alone today, it's cool. I'm just down to hang whenever you want." She can't comprehend like what he's going through. She's like, "Oh, well, do you still want to hang? Like you're having a meltdown, but I'm gonna go to the mall." Dom says, "I'm gonna just chill with Shane right now." And that was at 2:15 p.m. Then he says, "Bruh, Gabby Main was talking shit to me now." Kenzie says, "WTF? What did she say?" Dom says, "Bruh, it was some dumb shit. I'll tell you later." Kenzie said, "Oh my God, okay." Dom says, "If you go to the mall, let me know what shoes they have left at the store so I can resell. Any good J's or Nikes, you feel?" Kenzie says, "Okay, I will, babe. I'll look for you." Dom says, "Okay, babe." Then he says at 3:50, "Wanna order food and watch movies?" Kenzie said, "Yes, when?" She said, "I just ate. Let's do it tonight." He doesn't respond. She says, "What movie?" He says, "I don't know. What movie do you want to watch?" She says, "A funny one." "And what food?" Dom says, "I don't know. What food are you in the mood for?" She says, "Pizza. Low key pizza, though." Dom says, "Yeah, that would be dank. Super hot, steamy, cheesy pizza. We need a fire New York style pizza place." Kenzie said, "Bruh, yes. That sounds good AF." Dom says, "LMAO. What pizza place?" She says, honestly, Angelo's sounds good. Dom says, that's far, babe. She says, I can get it and bring it. Dom says, what about Capri? Kenzie says, I like Capri, but they put hella sauce. Can we get light on the sauce, extra cheese? Yeah, Kenzie, like you dumbass. Listen, I do want to say I can respect that Dom's family is speaking out. Um, because been saying, like Natalie Shirilla, they're saying the Shirillas are saying like free Kenzie, and they created this like free Kenzie movement. But then they won't address anything or they won't say anything, and maybe they don't want to because they think it's going to affect her parole. Like she's not going to get parole. And if you were thinking she was innocent, then you would speak out. And right now, everything is like social media. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, now I started staying real quiet. And then according to those jail phone calls, like, no, girl, you don't sound good and you don't look good. You know what I mean? Um, but anyway, so remember I said like now Sherla, speak the up, you know? What do you mean she's innocent? Like, so I can appreciate that Dom's family wants to be there to like speak up and keep Dom's name alive because that's the only way the truth will continue to come out, and Kenzie has a long way to go. Kenzie has to serve 11 more years in prison. So that's where we're at with that. Thank you, Nemo Sign. You became a member. Did I miss that earlier? I might have missed it when I was reading. Or maybe not. I don't know. But I appreciate you. Yeah, I love that Christine is speaking up. I like how she says I can get it. That means Natalie or Steve was getting it. Call drop from phone call that I was listening to. Oh, for Kenzie right now? Or when? Finally back to green. I appreciate you, Nemo. Okay, let's continue. She says, can we get light on the sauce, extra cheese? Dom says, yeah, you're the one going to get it. She says, you want me to get Capri? Dom says, get whatever you want, babe. She says, let me know what you want so I can order it. I'm going to go to the mall with my sister, then I can come. She says, just cheese pizza, babe. She says, I can come with the pizza at 4:58 p.m. What size pizza? He said, I don't know, a big one. She says, like the biggest size. Like, Kenzie, just make a decision. He said, whatever. He's going to pay for it. He already said that. I feel so bad for Dom. I do. That sounds good, Elijah. She says, like the biggest size. And what time do you want me to come over? Hang on. He says, I don't care whenever you want. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything. She says, okay, I'm about to go to the mall with my family and then I'll get the pizza to come over. He says, bet. She says, I'm ordering soon. He says, okay, babe. She says, a surprise coming soon. Dom says, bet. He says, Thomas, Eric, and Martin want to smoke. Would it be okay if I smoked with them and then we chill? Or we can chill, then I smoke with them or something. I don't know. She says, well, I have the food like right now. I wanna, I was about to be there. She says, PP pool. What does that mean? He says, yes, come. I don't have to chill with them. She sends a TikTok. Is that the next day? He says, I don't have to chill with them. Yeah, at 7:05 p.m. on the 2nd. Then she says, sends TikToks at 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, lit at 7:27 a.m. She says, hi, babe, at 10:12 a.m. Good morning. He says, good morning, babe. She says, I didn't go to bed till like 4 a.m. He said, that's tough. I've been feeling shitty all day. Kenzie says, right? And what do you mean by shitty? Like just drained? Dom says, never mind. She says, I'm sorry, babe. Just trying to talk. What are you doing? She says, I have school tomorrow, babe. He says, chillin', about to eat, fool. She says, what do you eat? I haven't eat yet. I did some crystal shit in the morning that though. Dom says, I'ma just eat pizza, F it. Kenzie says, you always eat healthy, so who cares? Yeah, that pizza is good as fuck. Then she sends a screenshot of a text message. She says, babe. He says, what? Question mark. She requested $20. Kenzie said, yes, question mark. Did you tell her to do that? LOL. Or should I just decline it? Okay, so someone requested money from Kenzie. Dom says, LOL, def don't accept that. WTF. Kenzie says, LMAO. That's funny AF. I wonder why she would request that. Dom said, I don't know. That's the R word. RETARDED. I hate that word. Kenzie says, are you busy? Dom says, I don't want to chill today. I don't want to be mean or something. Wait, what time was that at? Oh, that escalated quickly. She says, are you busy? He says, I don't want to chill today. I don't want to be mean or something. She says, oh, okay, well, oh, she says, oh, okay, well, if you end up feeling better, would you want to? She says, I am out of everything though. Babe? He doesn't respond. Why are you not texting back? Because Kenzie, all you do is use him. Ugh. Why do I feel like this documentary is going to piss me off a little bit? Case 10 years at 85%, you're doing 8.5 years. Wait, no, she got 15. She has 11 left. She better not only do 8.5 more years. She better do all of them. Oh, I'll drop it, Nemo. I think Makila's dad burned Dom's grave. The entire family. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that, to be honest. I believe Makila was playing with witchcraft. She pisses off her. I don't think anybody can read the text as well as Melly. Oh, thank you. And we're professionals here. We're Kenzie professionals. I was talking about Illinois. Oh, okay. Kenzie says, why are you not texting back? Because you're annoying, Kenzie. Well, he says, I'm eating. She says, well, do you want to hang later tonight? I'm bored as shit. Dom says, yeah, we probably can, babe. She says, yay. What you eating, babe? He says, more pizza. She says, LOL at 3:20 p.m. Dom says, yeet. She says, LOL again. What are you doing? She says at 4:36 p.m. I want to hang. Dom doesn't respond. She says, dry AF 10 minutes later. You act like you're not on your phone 80% of the day. Dom doesn't respond. WTF, dot, dot, dot. Dom says, we watching football. Sorry, babe. Kenzie doesn't respond. Dom says, babe. Kenzie says, what's up at 5:47 p.m. Dom says, not much. You didn't text back. Kenzie says, well, I didn't think you would want to talk or hang out. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Do you not want to hang, babe? Dom doesn't respond. She says, babe. Dom doesn't respond. She says, okay. Dom says, no, babe, we can hang. She says, when, babe? I want to hang. Dom says, I don't know, maybe right now. To be honest, my armpit is bothering the shit out of me. Just come by in a little. Kenzie says, let me know when. I'm ready. Can I come at 6:40? 6:30. Dom? He says, yeah. I'm rolling a wood. She says, okay, that was at 6:27 p.m. Then she says, good morning. I love you. I'm about to go to class, babe, the next day at 7:42 a.m. Dom says, okay, babe, have fun at school. I'm gonna Wim Hof. I love you. She says, okay, babe, I'm going to lab now. He said, what's the lab? She says, where I do hair and shit. Dom says, "Okay, nice. I'm about to work out." That was at 10 a.m. Then Kenzie says, "I'm on the way home. Do you want to hang?" Dom says, "Yeah, me, B, and Jared are trying to make plans, and Kyle trying to chill. So let me see." Kenzie says, "Okay, I'll let you know when I'm home." Dom says, "Okay." He says, "Do you have unscented soap, babe?" Kenzie said, "Yes, babe. It's what I washed my face with." She says, "I'm home." He says, "I need it for my pits, LMAO." She says, "LMAO, when do you want to hang, babe?" He says, "I don't care. I don't think I'm going to Jared's with B, so I'll probably just wait for when Kyle gets off work at 5-ish, but we can chill in the meantime, maybe." She says, "Want to come over or I can come to you?" "Do you want to hang though?" "I wanna." Dom says, "What?" "I gotta shower soon." She says, "Do you just want to shower then I can come over? Or do you want me to come over now?" Dom says, "Well, what are you trying to do?" Kenzie says, "Hang with you." "I don't care. I just want to be with you right now." Why is she so obsessed? Dom is so sweet. I know. I think at this point in the relationship, he was trying to get rid of her. They had not been sexually active yet. And once they were, that's when he started falling for her hard. Yeah. And the Russo family will be there. I will be there too, dude. She will do more than 15 years. Ugh, it makes me happy when Dom ignores her. Me too. She says, "I don't care. I just want to be with you right now." Dude, she's with him every day. Dom says, "Okay, babe." Kenzie says, "Okay, what?" "So what are we doing?" Dom says, "You can come over whenever, babe. I'm going to shower in a sec. Can you bring soap?" Kenzie says, "I can bring some soap." Dom says, "Okay." He says, "Come, babe." She says, "I'm going to come now." She says, "I want a dab though, so I might take one before I come though." Taking it right now. Dude, I forgot about how she was like such a little user here, you know? I forgot about that part. She got really bad for a minute. Why is she smoking a dab without Dom? I don't know. Sometimes I think she did really truly love Dom, but other times I think she just used him. I think Dom had a beautiful soul and was fighting evil. Yeah. Who was a 𝗝𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 vacate. That's why we hate her. Yeah, we do. Hate's a strong word, but listen, Kenzie. There is no free Kenzie here. Absolutely not. She did not wash her face or her ass apparently. Okay, she says, that's funny. If you know, you know, right? Kenzie says, taking it right now. What? Taking it right now. Oh, the dab. Dom says that you can come take one with me. Yeah. Like, what are you doing, Kenzie? She says, yay. I'm on the way. Then she sends a voice message. Dom sends a voice message back. She says she must be home then. He must have gone to hang out with his friends because that now it's 8 o'clock. Kenzie says, what are you doing? Babe? Okay. Dom says, I'm chilling with Kyle. Sorry, I'm really high and was talking to him for a while. Because Kenzie said, I figured that's what you were doing. When do you want to hang? Dude, he just hung out with you like 5 hours ago. Be honest. Some of you like that type of shit. And don't try to play. You guys like the clingy stuff? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Kenzie's only capable of loving herself. You got that right, Debbie. Dabs are so strong. She doesn't call dabs are strong, dude. I used to smoke dabs with my ex. We thought we were so cool. So cool. Bumpy. Yeah, bumpy. Hey, Ruth. No. Evie says no. You don't like the clinginess? I don't know. Some women like that. Like, some women like a man to be, like, all up in their business, like, calling them 700 times a day, emailing them 1,250 times a day, voice messaging 958 times a day, Instagramming 150 times a day, and then Snapchatting 272 times a day. Kenzie says, "When you wanna hang?" At 9:07 PM. No, he doesn't wanna hang, Kenzie. Go get your ass to sleep. Dom says, "In a little." Ugh, Dom. He's such a good boyfriend, dude. He just buys her food and takes care of her, and she's just like, "Hmm." She totally robbed him of ever truly being loved by a nice I know. He didn't get to date anyone, like, in his adult life, you know? He said, "Ew." I'm clean off weed almost for 2 years. Hi, Angel Eyes. No, not like that clingy chit. Do you like that, Melon Queen? No. No. You about to get blocked. You about to get blocked if you approach me with that shit. I travel alone. I remain solo, but yeah, no, listen. If you're cute and you're interested, let me know, but, like, watch it, okay? Because I don't want you getting blocked. No, oh, hells no. I text my husband in the morning, we speak when we're home, unless something is beautifully broken, like, unless it's an emergency, don't text me. And he buys her school assignments. I know. Dom's such a good boyfriend. He says, "In a little." She says, "Okay, I have to leave at 11." Kenzie, so just go to sleep. It's 9:13 already. Less than 2 hours. She said, "Because of school, though." Dom says, "Okay, babe." I'm upset. Then he says, "I love you so very much, babe." She says, "I love you, babes." She says, "I'm ready to hang whenever, baby boy," at 9:27 PM. Dom says, "Okay, babe." He says, "Come." And we're come in oh, like, bring oh, she probably has new shoes. He said, "Come and wear your shoes. We can take a pic real quick, cause I know you want to." See what a good boyfriend he is? He's like, she's a psycho and wants to post every minute of the day, so we can take a cute couple selfie. She talks so much crap her parents back then too, I know. Good girl, I had a guy that drove me nuts like, "Makilla, I can't handle it." You're super conservative? Hmm, let's see. He says, "'Cause I know you want to." Kenzie says, "Yay." She says, "On the way." Dom says, "LOL." He says, "Put my bed sheet on, though." That was at 9:51. She's home now. So she went over there, and now she's back home. She says, "I miss you already. Good night, babes." Next morning at 6:21 AM. So literally from 11:39 PM to 6:29 AM. She says, "Morning, babe." Dom says, "Good morning, babe. I love you." Kenzie says, "I love you, babes. Do you wanna hang soon?" Later in the day, she says. Dom says, "Yeah, let me see what I gotta do first." She says, "Let me know ASAP. I wanna hang," she says. Sends an emoji or whatever. Dom says not emoji, like a meme thing. Dom says, "Okay, I just might link with my homie to get my money." Kenzie said, "Okay, babe." He sends like an emoji back. She sends a little frog. Then it goes to the next day, so probably nothing happened that day. Um, she isolates Dom. She wants to see Dom every day and forces him to hang out every day. If not, it's a fight, it's a whole thing because that's like what abusive people do. They try to isolate you from your friends. They want you to only be all about them, only be texting them. You know what I mean? So just red flags. Red flags, babelets. Don't know when your true love comes, you'll feel it. It was heartbreaking when she said, "I wanted to have I just wanna feel love." Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what that means. She says, "Morning, babes." Dom says, "Good morning, babe. I love you." She says, "Hi, babes. I love you." He says, "Hey, babes. Love you too." This is when he was started saying, "I love you" a lot more because, like, 2020, he was not about it. So remember 2021, he kind of changes a little bit, just like someone mentioned previously. He says, "Hey, babes. Love you too." She says, "I'm about to drop Kendra off to do my schoolwork. Please come watch me do my schoolwork, babe." Dom says, "Babe, I'm not dressed and I'm cleaning my room though." She says, "After." Dom says, "After I'm done or you're done?" She said, "Come as soon as you can." Dom says, "Nah, I'm running on my time, not yours." Kenzie says, dot, dot, dot. Dom says, "I'm just not trying to dress to come over, leave in an hour, and then have to shower and get dressed again when I can just finish, shower, and get dressed. But I don't know what shampoo to use." She says, "I can go get you a really good one today." Dom says, "Whatever you want to do, babe, you don't have to. My room is really clean," he says. "I'm rolling a wood off the bud Scott gave me to try." "When are you coming?" he says at 3:06 p.m. "Do I have time to Wim Hof?" She says, "Right now." She says, "That was 3:12." Then she says, "Tracking number?" Dom says, "I sent it to you. When should I order Chinese?" Kenzie says, "Me and Mr." I think she meant me. "Me and Megan playing the Oculus. Want to come?" Dom says, "Maybe." She says, "Come." Dom says, emoji. He says, "I'm so fried for some reason," at 8:35 p.m. Kenzie says, "Come hang." Dom says, "No, babe, I'm tired." She says, "Please." Dom says, "I'm about to brush my teeth and lay down." Kenzie says, "No, come hang." "Babe." Dom says, "I'm chilling with Smeesh, babe." She says, "Babe." And then it's the next morning. "Good morning," she says at 6:57 a.m. "I miss you and love you." Dude, she was literally with him, not even like it was like 4 hours, 6 hours earlier. She says, "I miss you and love you." He says, "I love you, babe." She says Dom says, "Babe, what shampoo do I use?" He says, "Honestly, I hate people." Sends a screenshot. Dom says, "About protecting racism?" Question mark. "Trump supporters went to DC to protect racism. How effing R word can you be?" Sends another screenshot. I can't see what it is. "Maybe because the whites ain't robbing and looting the city. Maybe because they just protesting, not hurting anyone, not hitting people with rocks or robbing people, just protesting. Sure, they climbed the building, but okay, better than setting things in the street on fire, running their own effing city, dumbass." Honestly, I hope that the black dude gets shot. So fucking dumb. No wonder I can't say that word. No wonder the cops blank them. Protecting racism, how dumb can they be? It was because election fraud, so they ain't running I don't know what's going on here, politic talk. And businesses and stealing shit, they just went into the Capitol. What was going on around this time? Looting? 2021? Kenzie says, "Oh God, I feel like both bad." Dom says, "Nah, for real. You know I'm right." She says, "I don't care. I hate violence and destruction." Dom says, "They dumb as hell." Kenzie says, "Yeah, low key." Dom says, "They didn't destroy anything." Kenzie said, "Obviously, the cops are gonna like them better. I gotta get back to work in a sec." Dom says, "Also, they ain't even saying F the police and taunting them." Kenzie says, "Wanna hang today?" He says, "You seen Black Lives Matters protesters?" Kenzie said, "Yeah, exactly." Kenzie says, "If they were saying a cabin, F the cops, I'm sure they would be hitting them and killing them too." Dom says, "And you know just about election fraud." Not about oh, it's about election fraud, not racism. That's dumbasses. It's the Democrats that do this. See, they're the ones that say this. Say it's because of racism. The Democrats drawing the line, creating racism, separating the country. Kenzie says, I agree with you. But they have broken into that building. She says, check signal. He sends a screenshot. He says, what did you do with my nail clippers? She says, I love you, babe. I'm on school right now. Oh, what time is it? 11 a.m. I don't know why they were talking politics. It's not like Kenzie even understands that. Um, so it's 11 a.m. He said, what did you do with my nail clippers? She says, I love you, babe. I'm at school right now. He says, I'm on the way to Jared's. She says, can we hang, babe? Dom says, yes, babe. She says, can I come over at 3:19 p.m.? Dom says, can I smoke with Sheen real quick? Kenzie said, sure. Dom says, bet. She says, scoop me after. Dom says, okay. She says, when, babe? Dom said, in a sec. He said, come at 4:44 p.m. She said, okay, I'm going to get a surprise first. Dom says, bet. Is it food? Kenzie said, maybe. I'm on the way. Dom says, bet. Then she sends a selfie of herself the next morning at 6:59 a.m. She says, morning, babe, and sends a selfie. Love you. Dom says, good morning, babe. You peeing in that pic? Kenzie says, yes, babe. Dom says, babe, get me shampoo. Kenzie says, okay, I will. I don't think my mom can drive me home, an asshole parent, because of that. Dom says, yeah, when do you want me to pick you up? She says, 10:40. She says, what are you doing, babe? He said, at B's. Kenzie says, I'm playing Fortnite, LOL. Fortnite reminds me of Celeste. I believe he'll be. I don't really care about the politics. I don't even know how much they really knew about politics. So, and I don't even do politics. I should say she's a narcissist. Yeah, she is a narcissist. He didn't even have shampoo because he spent all of his money on her. I don't even think it's that. I just think he was like, whatever, buy me something good, you know? Like Dom wanted the good shit. She just uses him for his money. Hi, Ruthann. Dom says, I'm about to be home. He says, okay, I'm about to go with Blair, babe. Kenzie says, babe, at 2:58 p.m. When can we hang? Dom says, babe, I thought you were going to play Fortnite, LOL. Kenzie said, no, babe, I said I was. I want to come over. Dom says, want to scoop me after the sale? Kenzie says, let me drive Kendra home, then we can. Dom says, okay, that works. He says, or chill with Kendra. I'll chill with Blair. Kenzie says, no, I can drive her home right now. Dom said, why, babe? She said, because I want to hang with you. Dom says, LOL. She says, so what? Can I come or no? Dom says, yeah. Kenzie says, okay, I'm going to drive her home right now. Dom says, okay, babe. She says, I'm going to go to your house. Dom says, okay. That was at 3:11 p.m. Then it jumps to 1:36 a.m. If you get up anytime tonight, make sure and see Smokey's by the window because he wouldn't come in for me. Dom says, I'm up, babe, at 7:22 a.m. on January 9th. She says, hi, babe. Morning. He says, good morning, babe. She says, I woke up about to piss my pants. LOL. Dom says, you still have to pee? She says, I went pee. So I'm up now. Dom says, you've been holding that a while. Kenzie says, LMAO, I have to pee a lot. I don't know why. Dom says, I'm just kidding. Yesterday you refused to go and kept holding it. Kenzie says, LOL. I think it's ADHD or anxiety thing. Mm, no, Kenzie. I think you're lazy. That's what I think it is. Kenzie could not even pass high school. No, she couldn't pass high school. Same Elena politics. No. I do like geoguessr. She says, "I think it's ADHD or anxiety thing, LMAO." Dom says, "LOL." She says, "I'm excited to shop today." Are you? Are you, Kenzie? Because you don't have a job. Dom says, I know. What are you doing right now?" She says, I'm just laying. My tummy kind of nauseous." Dom says, "Check signal." She says, okay, leave. See what issues come up at 2:50 p.m. I'm def not. Oh, okay. So they're like arguing here. Hold on. He says, let's go back. She says, "I'm just laying. My tummy kind of nauseous at 8:08 a.m." Dom says, "Check signal." And then it jumps to 2:50 p.m. Kenzie said, "Okay, leave. See what issues come up. I'm def not the immature one. I'm outside with Nico. You good, babe?" Dom doesn't respond. She sends a picture. She says, oh, wait, jump days. I thought they were fighting, but they weren't apparently." She says, "I'm outside with Nico at 4:13 p.m." Then it jumps to the 10th at 6:52 p.m. She says, "You good, babe?" Then she sends a picture. She says, "LOL." Dom says, I have to put it together on a puzzle." Kenzie says, "Or look at Snap." Dom says, "I got it. 48 moves." Moves? Kenzie says, "Yay. I love you." He says, "I love you too, babe." Angelo's going crazy, he says at 11:42 p.m. at night. Kenzie said, "Oh God." Dom says, "He flipped on my mom." Kenzie said, "What's going on? What did he say?" Dom says, "I don't know. I'll tell you later. He was just tweaking, trying to fight everyone over his car." Kenzie said, "OMG. So did everyone leave?" Dom said, "No." Kenzie said, "Is Angelo still tweaking?" Dom said, "I don't know." Kenzie said, "I'm sorry, babes." Dom says, "It's messed up. I'll talk to you about it later." She says, "Okay, baby. Love you." Then she says, now my mom can't take me to my nail appointment tomorrow." Dom says, "That's tough." I have to sneeze at 1 a.m. She says, "Morning, babe," at 7:07. Dom says, "Good morning." He says, "I love you." She says, "How'd you sleep, babes?" He said, I went to sleep at 3. Kenzie said, "Oh my God, why?" Dom said, "Dealing with that shit." She said, "Is everything good now?" Dom said, "I'm at Blair's." Kenzie said, "Doing school. Can you take me to my nail appointment?" Dom says, "I don't know. When?" He says, "I have stuff to do, to be honest." She says, "I might have a ride." Dom says, "Okay, let me know." She says, "I will." Then she says at 1:34 p.m., "I'm so excited to get my nails done." Dom says, "I know, you're gonna look so good, babe." She says, wait, that was at 1, I have to sneeze. She says that Dom said that at 1:36. Kenzie says, "I need a ride" at 2:07. The only person who swiped up was Kyle. Oh, wait. She says, "I need a ride at 2:07 p.m." She says, "The only person who swiped up was Kyle." And then it jumps to the 12th. She says, "Hey, babe. Hey, babe. She says, "I'm at school. Can I come over after school? Are you busy?" He says, "No, I'm mad. I don't want to hang today." Kenzie says, "Okay, babes, hit me up later." Then she says at 1:56 p.m., "Did your appointment go well, babe?" Kenzie says, "I texted her." Dom says, "Okay, thanks. That really doesn't do anything now. I can text her, obviously." Kenzie says, "Okay, don't take it out on me, babe. I tried to help. I'm in class. I tried." Dom says, "Well, that wasn't the point to text her. The point was to call her. I can do it now anyway." Kenzie says, "Which I can't do because I'm at school, but I tried." Dom said, "Well, that wasn't the point." At 2:08 p.m. Then Kenzie says at 4:05, "Hi, babe." Dom says, "Hey, babe." He says, "I'm home now. What are you doing?" She says, "I'm about to take a meditating bath." She says, "I want to hang." Dom says, "Come hang," at 7:37 p.m. Then he says, "Babe, so my problem's worse now." Wait. So my problem's worse now. Almost, almost. Itching is gone. But now the chafing. I need to switch underwear. Kenzie says, let me take my bath, then I'll come also. I got you something. Dom says, I need to try really soft boxer briefs. Kenzie says, next time I'm at the mall, I'll look. Dom says, but I can't go buy them because I can barely walk. Kenzie says, babe. He says, money orders was terrible. Kenzie said, oh no, what happened? Dom says, it hurt a little when I drive. Just a chafing. Kenzie says, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Dom says, so I wore loose underwear so it wouldn't itch as much. Loose underwear make too much movement in my pants. Kenzie says, I'm sorry, babes. Dom says, causing underwear to rub in my pants. Kenzie says, I'll be over less than an hour. I just need to get in the bath. Dom says, it didn't spread. It just started rubbing that side. So now both sides are effed. Kenzie said, holy shit. What exactly do you need? What type of underwear? Kenzie says, I'll for real go ASAP. Dom says, I don't know, like chafing ones, like the softest boxers briefs, LOL. Kenzie says, I'm coming in 10, just got out the shower. Dom says, okay, babe. Sends a, what is that, kiss background? Something with kisses, lips. He says, I'm making this logo for my brand. Oh, okay, that's what it is. He says, it'll be easy AF. Kenzie says, aw. Dom says, wouldn't that look dope though? Imagine the kissy lips, different colors too. Kenzie said, yes. You know what? I'm starting to think like, yeah. See, 𝗝𝗵𝗶𝗽 gave him something. I was just gonna say, I wonder if it was her. Haha, I'm dying. I wonder if it was her. Oh, thank you. Thank you, beautifully broken. Um, mm. Hey, Alsini. Makila lying. We know she don't shower. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe she didn't shower. She says January 13th, because we know she doesn't like to shower, right? We hear her talking about that in the phone calls. Kenzie says, morning, babes. Love you. I'm at school the next day on the 13th at 8:07 a.m. Dom says, love you, babe. Let me take a drink of my water. Oh. Oh, please. I just spilled it everywhere. Okay. She says, Dom says, love you, babe. He says, thanks for cleaning my room, babe. It looks so nice. Kenzie says, I love you, babe. I wanted you to have a clean room. She says, I'm about to go to theory. I can go to a class. Dom says, babe, did you know I love you so very much? See? That's different. Then she sends like a kissy face. She says, I'm home now, about to go to school online at 11:26 a.m. She says, I love you more. Dom says, no, I love you more. Kenzie says, no, I love you more, my babe, my number one babes. Dom says, aw, my babes. Kenzie said, send me a pic of you, babe. She says, what are you doing right now? Babe, she says, at 1:57 p.m. He says, I'm at Jared's. Just rolled a wood. Kenzie said, it sounds smack right now. Dom says, right? She sends emojis. She says, when can we hang? At 3:31 p.m. Dom says, I'm going to be home eventually. Kenzie says, when? Babe? Dom says, babes. She says, good morning, babes. Oh, now it's the next day at 6:42 a.m. He says, I love you, babe. Found your cart charger. She says, no way. Where was it? What is that? I can't see what's in that picture. She says, I've been using this. Oh, it's a charger, I guess. Yeah. Dom says, on the floor in the kitchen. I don't know where it came from. Also, I just watched a thing on Greece. One of the dudes got addicted to opiates and died. Kenzie said, "Yeah, isn't that shit sad?" And just on the floor? Question mark, question mark. I love Greece. I want to watch it. Dom said, "Yeah, for real, just on the floor, like in the middle." He says, "I don't know how it got there." Kenzie said, "Weird AF. LMAO, at least it's found." Dom says, "Yeah, my mom definitely moved it or something." Kenzie says, "I really wonder how it got there." Dom says, "I don't know, for real." She says, "What are you doing up so early at 7:18 a.m.?" She says, "I'm about to leave to go to Polaris." Dom says, "I just get up this early now." She said, "That's wild. I hate waking up early." Dom says, "I get up before 9 like every day. It's been like that for a bit now." Kenzie says, "God damn, babes." She says, "What are you doing later in the day at 1:05 p.m.?" She says, "Can I come over after school?" Babes. He said, "Hey, babes." She says, "Hi, I love you. I found a song that reminds me of you," at 2:09 p.m. Dom said, "What is it?" She said, "I'll show you in person." Dom says, "Okay." Dom says, "Can you do my laundry?" Kenzie said, "Sure, LOL. When I'm with Faith, when I'm with Faith right now, I can come soon though. Let me know when." Dom says, "Okay, let me know." Kenzie says, "Are you home now at 3:21 p.m.?" She says, "Babe, Dom." Dom says, "Yeah." She says, "When can I come?" Dom says, "I texted it and didn't send." In a little. "You want to get food?" he says at 3:46 p.m. Like order? Kenzie said, "Yes, where?" He says, "My shit hurts. I don't care wherever." Kenzie says, "I'm craving Chinese and Chipotle and other stuff." Dom says, "Yeah, let's get Chinese." He says, "I'm literally naked. LOL, kill me, your just wearing your Kenzie. Is that cool?" Kenzie says, "You're so cute." He says, "LOL." I don't know what that means. It was a typo. She says, "What are you doing now?" He said, "It hurts. I'm just chilling, about to take a dab." Kenzie says, "I want to come over now." Dom says, "Okay, one sec. Let me see what I got to do." He says, "Yeah, you can come. I'm not going to do anything else." She said, "Okay, I'm coming at 3:49 p.m. He says, "Does Wild Fusion deliver here?" Kenzie says, "I don't know. I can pick it up. I can just pick it up if you want me to." He says, "Yeah, well, whatever other place we would order, so might as well. I'll give you the money for it." Kenzie says, "Tell me what you want." She says, "I'll go get it." Dom says, "Or should we get pizza? Because I'm getting shaded of chicken." Kenzie says, "True, what pizza would we get?" He says, "I don't know, that Ohio pie is over there." Um, he says, "Honestly, we could just get Chipotle, but last time they gave us gross food too." Kenzie says, "I don't really want that either." Dom says, "You don't want Chipotle or you don't want pizza?" She says, "No Chipotle. I'm about to be in the car with my mom. What food do you want?" He says, "Pizza or Chinese? If you really want wild fusion, I'll probably get the same thing. I can't really think of anything else to get, you know?" She said, "Babe, pick one." "Babe?" Dom says, "Sesame chicken, the dinner combo. And we want pot stickers." She says, "Bet. I'm getting it now." Dom says, "Bet." She says, hella traffic." She says, "So annoying." Dom says, "How far?" "Get petroleum gel too. No glycerin or parabens." Sends a screenshot. He said, "Is that spelled right? Because it literally says this." Kenzie said, "Okay, you right." Jumps to the next day, the 15th. Dom says, "Good morning, babe." "Good morning, babe. I love you so much." Kenzie says, "Good morning, Dom, babe. I love you." Dom says, "How is Polaris?" Kenzie says, "I didn't go in today. I have a lot of online work and I just ran out of face cream." Dom says, "That's tough. I've been doing nothing," at 10:43 a.m. Kenzie says, "Yeah, I'm at Kendra. Wait, Kendra has my math work." Oh, she says, "Yeah, and Kendra has my math work." "What's your plan today?" she says at 10:51 a.m. Dom says, "I don't know. Right now, nothing." Kenzie says, "Bet, can we hang then?" Dom says, "Yeah, probably depends when my dude is sliding to town." Kenzie said, "Oh shit." Dom says, "Oh shit, oh." Kenzie says, Kendra's dad had a stroke. I was with her right now. Dom says, he just had one? That's so sad. What's with everyone having strokes? Kenzie said, yeah, last night. I feel so bad. She called me crying, so I picked her up. Dom said, that's sad. Kenzie said, I know. Dom said, I just seen an OnlyFans bitch post on Snap. If your nudes get leaked, say they're mine. Kenzie said, LMAO. Dom says, I was dead. Kenzie says, well, good to know. Dom says, yeah, right? She's a real one. Dom says, you want to get food at 2:13 p.m.? Kenzie says, I was literally going to ask you, but can Kendra come? Dom says, I'm hungry. I haven't ate. To where? Kenzie says, we wanted to go to Jennifer's. Dom said, it's 2 p.m. Kenzie says, we right there, or we can go to 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 any ideas? Dom says, I don't know. I'll text you in a little. She says, bet, look at some food places. And then she says, are you okay at 3:31 p.m.? Dom says, what do you mean? I'm just chilling. She says, I just wanted to see if you were hurting. I feel bad. Dom says, oh, yeah, it's not super bad. I'm just doing nothing still. I've been on my phone all day doing nothing. How's your nails? Kenzie said, who cares? Sometimes it's nice to just relax. And they're good. I'm fixing with Kendra right now. Want to hang? She says at 5:21 p.m. Dom says, I don't know. What are you doing? She says, wig shit. Kendra dipping at 7. Dom says, just hang with her. I'm going to chill. I need to order some food. What should I get? Dom says. Kenzie says, I don't know. I'm also hungry. Dom says, yeah, I haven't eaten anything today. And that was at 5:47. Kenzie says, babe, why? I only ate prosciutto. Dom says, I ate pineapple and I don't know what that means. Fake Chinese. Kenzie says, pineapple sounds smack. Dom says, it's gone. There was only 3 pieces. Kenzie said, of course it is. LMAO. Dom says, I took part of a 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 and I'm straight tripping. I did not expect it. Kenzie says, oh God, LMAO. Want me to come over? Dom says, maybe. I didn't notice till Blair pulled up. I'll send snap. Kenzie says, I want a trip. That's funny AF though. Dom says, I did it by accident. LOL. That was at 6:57 p.m. Then it jumps to the next day. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I left that comment. She didn't even do her homework. Hopefully in prison she learns to spell. Hi, 𝗝𝗃𝗵𝗃. Where have you been, 𝗝𝗃𝗵𝗃? Love your readings of the text. Oh, new babelet. Yay! We're getting new babelets. All the babelets. Hi, hoodies. Sorry if I missed you. I've been over here reading. We're going to Luca's when I get back to Cleveland. I want to go. Michaela lying. We know she don't shower. Ew, I'm dying. That's funny. She says, okay, so now it's the 16th, 6:12 a.m. Dom says, good morning, babe. I love you. He says, hey, babe. Wait, is that the same day? Yeah. He says, hey, babe. I love you. Thanks for taking care of me last night, babe. Oh, so she went over there when he was on shrooms. She said, hi, babes. Sends an emoji. Dom says, babe. She says, I'm working out. Want to hang today? Working out like where? What do you mean Kenzie's working out? Hi, Green-eyed. Dom says, yeah, I'm gonna be doing nothing till Noah plans to link up. Kenzie says, okay, bet. Dom says, you want to make breakfast? She says, yes. Why? When? Babe? He says, right now. She says, sure. When are you going to your homies? Dom says, I don't know. I texted him. Kenzie says, I'm coming over at 10:03 a.m. Dom says, don't come yet. Let me do Wim Hof. If you're on the way, it's fine. Kenzie says, I'm here. Dude. The crash. I know. Boomer, we talked about it already. I wonder if Steve and Natalie got money for it. I'm gonna be pissed. We're gonna try to watch it on What did we say? Oh, we Wim Hofen. Where did we say we were gonna try to watch it? I'll let you guys know. Man, I was willing to take that hit, the copyright, but then I'm like, it's Netflix, you know? They really won't like that. So maybe we can do it in the Discord or something. Oh, that's where we said we might do it. I have to look into it. Um, I so wanna watch that with you guys, though. A little movie day or, we can do, like, a little documentary day. Oh. Okay, anyways, let's move on. Just kidding. Kenzie says, "I'm here" at 10:08 AM. Dom says, "Oh, okay." He says, "LOL. Bitch, I told you to hold on." No, just kidding. That's me saying that. Kenzie said, "You good?" at 11:32 AM. Dom says, "Babe, yeah, babe, love what? I love you." I think that's what he meant to say. Kenzie says, "Love you too, babe." So Kyle hit me up about dinner, babe, she says later in the day at 4:29 PM. Do I dress nice? Dom says, look cute. Kenzie says, I will. Dom says, okay. She says, when do I come over? At 6:25 PM. Babe? Babe, she says. Dom says, I love you, babe. At 4:44 in the morning. Kenzie says, hey, babe, good morning. The next day at 7:36. So no, now we're on January 18th, 2021. She says, love you too. Dom says, good morning, babe, love you. She says, I'm about to do a fake tan right now. Are you excited? Dom says, LOL, yeah. He says, I'm about to Wim Hof in a sec. She says, I did some crystal shit a little ago. Now I wait till 2 to shower. Dom says, do you have school today or are you just doing online? Kenzie said, no school. Dom said, no school at all? Question mark. Kenzie said, nope. It's a holiday, I think. What holiday is it on January 18th? Is that like, what is that? I don't think it is a holiday. Is it? Oh, it's Martin Luther King. Okay. It is. Oh, she was right. I was wrong. Oh no. She says it's a holiday, I think. Dom says, oh. Oh, MLK, yeah. MLK Day. She says LMAO. Yeah, wanna hang? After my tan? Dom says, sure, let me Wim Hof and shower and see what else I gotta do. She says, bet. Sends a kissy face. She says, wait, what time is that? 8:56 AM. She says, "What are you doing?" at 2:00 PM. He says, "With Joey." She says, "Where are you at, babe?" At 8:11 PM later that day. He says, "I'm drinking water." She says, "Come in your room, babe." Dom says, "Okay." So she was over at his house. Next day, she says, "Good morning, babes," at 6:24 AM. He says, "Good morning, babe. I love you. Do you have your microdoses?" Kenzie says, "Love you too, babe. How did you sleep?" Dom says, "Pretty good." Kenzie said, "I do have them." Dom said, "Nice. Have a good day at school, baby." She says, "I'm not taking it to actual school, though." "I already miss you," she said at 6:32 AM. He said, "Yeah, that's a move." Wait, she's gonna take shrooms at school? She's gonna microdose at school? 'Cause you're a dumbass. Dom says, "Yeah, that's the move." She sends an emoji. He says, "Me too, babe." He says, "Send me a pic you have of me with the money." Kenzie said, "What one?" He says, "You want good pic?" Kenzie says, "Yes, babe." I don't know what that means. She says, "I don't wanna go to math." Dom says, "LOL." She says, "Are we hanging after school? I for real hate this class." Dom said, "Not right after." She says, "Gay." Sends a what are those called? I don't know what those are called. Like your little person, your little character. Dom says, "LOL." She says, "Chris has COVID." Dom says, "I know." She says, "Fucked. Is he okay?" Dom says, "Yeah. He just can't taste." Kenzie said, "Wild AF." She says, I'm about to go to school. I'm about to go. I'm about to go to school shopping, she says. There was a typo. Dom says, bet. He says, we chillin' with B later? Kenzie says, what are you doing? Wait, what time was that at? 4:50. Kenzie says, what are you doing? She said, sure. I'm down. I was talking to Miranda. Dom says, okay, and you and Miranda decide what you want to do? Kenzie says, bet. When are we hanging? Dom says, I don't know. I'm hanging with Kyle, Sheen, and Blair right now. What is the plan? He says at 6:59 p.m. Kenzie says, I can come over soon. All I know is we're probably going downtown. We're probably going out to dinner somewhere downtown and we're picking Blair and her up. She says, we found a place. Dom says, what, tonight? What place? It's already 7:20, babe. She says, yes, right now. We can go at 8. Dom says, babe, where? What the hell? Because it's already 7:20 p.m. She says, okay, or we don't have to go. Do you not want to go? Dom says, 4 question marks. She says, never mind. Dom says, where? She said, never mind. Dom says, I asked where for the 3rd time. Kenzie said, wait. Dom says, time? She says, I'm driving. I don't know what that means. Dom says, what is that? She says, the chocolate bar. It's a restaurant. She says, I'm home. We can hang. Dom said, is that how it's spelled? Kenzie says, they stopped seating at 9. Sends a map screenshot. Dom says, why? She says, are you down? We both want to go there. It's up to you and Blair. Dom says, I haven't talked to Blair. She says, whatever, let's just not go. Dom says, okay. Kenzie says, like, what are you doing? What the fuck? Questions his message. He says, what? She says, like, don't ask me if we're chilling. Don't ask me if we're chilling with me later if you're just going to be all weird about the plan. Like, you tell me to pick, then you question me. Dom says, you waited till 7:30 to tell me you wanted to go all the way downtown and have me spend a check. Kenzie says, I can literally pay. Dom says, and I don't know the food they go there at all. And I don't know the food I think they got there at all. Kenzie says, I can drive too. Like, if you wanted to go, you would. Dom says, no, you're not going to be able to park. We'll just chill another day. Kenzie says, you're really just about to find everything wrong about it. Literally, B and Miranda, cool. Why do you have to be like this? She says. Dom says, I'm not trying to deal with all that for real. That's really doing the most on a Monday. Kenzie said, who cares what day it is? Why can't we just have fun? Like, I want to have fun and live my life. Dom says, go do that, Dan. He's like, go do that, Beezy. I'm just kidding. No, but really, he said, go do it then. Um, who? Who's getting the ruler? Did I miss something? I don't know. This class isn't in the mood for corporal. What? My 15-year-old nephew was dumped by his girlfriend who's 15 years older because some guy asked her to senior prom. I'm not a mom and I'm trying to think of a That's funny. Um she says Dom says, go do that then. Literally like that. He spelled it like that. Kenzie says, this is going to be fun, but you're not letting it be fun. She says, wow. Okay, cool. Dom says, because you know what I'm dealing with. I ain't trying to go nowhere, especially downtown. Nah, you could have told me earlier we were going downtown. Kenzie says, you were downtown the other night. I don't know why it's only an issue when you're with me, but okay. Like, this could have been a fun night that I was excited for. But of course, this happens. Dom doesn't even respond. She says, nothing? Question mark. Dom says, what? She says, is this really how you're about to be? Like, you're gonna do this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. You're really not gonna go to dinner? Dom says, Kenzie, I don't want to go to Cleveland. I'm uncomfortable. Kenzie says, then why the F did you ask me to effing make plans? What the F? Sends a screenshot. Like, what a good idea. Get my hopes up and then my excitement up, and then you do this. Why wasn't it a problem when you went to dinner with Kyle? Dom said, okay, cool, go do that. She said, go do what? That made no sense. Okay, Dom, you're just fucked up. Bye. She says bye at 7:43 p.m. Dom says, okay, Kenzie. And by the way, Blair hit me up and told me y'all were trying to chill. So I asked you, and you just told me to make the plans. And I didn't want to go with Noah. I just kind of went because I had to. Because one, I forgot my backpack with them and I forgot his other stuff. Also, Kyle insisted on pain, and he barely comes to Cleveland like that. That's totally different than just randomly going out on a Monday. I thought y'all would want to go look at the sunset or some shit, not leave downtown Cleveland for 3 hours. And then we're probably going to have to park in the parking garage and walk. And yeah, I ain't trying to do that. I already smoked 2 woods today. Kenzie says, so you're just not trying to do anything now? You're not even trying to hang out? Dom says, not really. Sorry. Sorry. Wait, he says, not really. It's 7:03 p.m. Then at 9, he says, sorry we were fighting, babe. I love you. I don't want to fight. Kenzie says, I love you too, babe. I never want to fight. That shit just sucked for me a lot, especially now you were texting me, making me feel like you just don't care. Dom says, well, you weren't making total sense. He says, babe, I'm looking through the internet. I don't know if this is going to get better. She says, you don't know if what's going to get better. The next morning at 8:06 a.m. Dom says, the cracks. Kenzie said, babe, you need to go to the doctor. Dom says, I've been looking through Google and it's showing exactly what I have. Kenzie said, if it's something bad, you got to catch it soon enough. What is it? Dom says, people been to doctors 8 times and they haven't done anything. Kenzie said, yeah, true. Dom says, it's literally just cracking. Kenzie said, holy shit, like the skin? Dom says, but there's like no way to help or prevent it. Yeah, I'll send you a pic. Kenzie says, what is it called? Let me look it up. Babe, don't give up. Dom says, like, you know how the top half of my skin is sensitive? That's what it is, pretty much. I'm gonna send you a pic. She says, bet I'm in class right now, but show me. And yeah, what about it? Dom says, it's just cracked and sensitive. I don't know if there's a cure or if it's even anything. Kenzie said, is that what hurts the lines? There has to be something, babe. This deaf isn't something uncommon. Dom says it's pretty common. I'm looking on the sites and people have been dealing with this for years. And then they go to internet like Reddit or something. Like these people haven't cured it. Kenzie said, what is it called? I want to look it up. Dom says, look up slight cracking. Kenzie said, but babe, I'm going to try really hard to find stuff to help you. I hate seeing you all in pain. Dom says, yeah, I'm about at the end. Kenzie said, the end of what, babes? Dom says, of tolerating it. He says, if I'm stuck with this, I'm just going to take perks till it's over because I won't be able to enjoy anything. Kenzie says, babe, no. Dom says, can't sleep, right? Can't exercise, can't really even go anywhere. I really can't do anything. I can't drive. Kenzie said, you can't just go to drugs when something isn't right. We're going to find a good way. Dom says, when something will never be right, that's okay. Huh? When something will never be right, that's okay. Kenzie says, trust me, babe. I'm literally look everywhere for something to help. Like I'm so serious. Dom says, nah, I do it every morning. You're gonna look through all the same things I have. I can't enjoy my life. I'm gonna enjoy the perks. I still got like a week too before he said to go back. Kenzie says, okay, babe, please don't start anything till you go back to the doctor. At least wait the week. Dom says, I don't know if I'm even go back. They probably won't do anything. She says, babe, you're going to go back. Like, if you really want an answer, just keep going till you get one. Dom says, I just told you I read several articles with people with the same problem where doctors didn't do anything. Even the pictures they showed just look like mine. Kenzie says, babe, there's so many doctors. Like, give it a chance. Dom says, I know. Kenzie says, please. Dom said, all those doctors didn't do anything. Kenzie says, babe, you got to have hope. I really don't want you in pain. Dom says, I did, and now I'm really sad. Kenzie says, babe, I have a hope for you. You need to still have hope. I'm here to help you and be here for you, babes. I don't know why they're being so dramatic. It's like, just get some super hydrating cream. I don't know, some hydrocortisone. Don't give creative. I'm cracking up. Bro had eczema. Oh, that's what it is, eczema? Is that? It's funny. Hey, beautifully. Poor guy, I know. He says, "Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty chalked." Kenzie says, "Please, babe, have hope." They're being a little dramatic. Like, I thought there was something literally wrong with him. I don't think there is. I think it's just a rash, right? Dom says, I think it could get better, but it hasn't really. Maybe a little." Kenzie said, "Just watch what you wear and put on it and do, and you already do that. Just be extra careful. And when you go back to the doctor, let him know what you've been doing and it's not getting better." Dom says, "That's 8 days from now. Honestly, I'm about to have a mental breakdown. It's been a couple days from a full month. Like 3 days, it's a full month." Kenzie says, "I feel your pain, babes. I miss you, but I don't want to make anything worse for you." Dom says, "Honestly, it's perk time, probably." She says, "Only one and not every day. This is so stressful." Dom says, "Yeah, I'm freaking out." He says, "I'm done. I'm KMS. I don't know when. I just took one." Kenzie says, "WTF? Are you effing kidding me?" Dom says, "F you." Kenzie says, "WTF?" Dom says, "Don't call me on some shit." Oh no. Kenzie says, "What the F made you think it was okay to text me that while at school? You know how my anxiety is." Dom says, "Okay, I won't do that." She says, "Sad the fact that you took those pills. I for real don't know what to do." Dom says, "I started tweaking, so I did that." Kenzie says, "Drugs isn't the answer, especially the two. Mixing the two, it's bad. I try so hard to help, then you just do shit like that." Dom said, "Well, there's nothing really to do now that I'm high because I don't care that much." Kenzie said, "Is Miranda going to be there? Can I come?" Dom says, "No, B's chilling with her later." She said, "Ugh, okay, have fun." She says, "I posted on Instagram." Dom says, "Okay." She says, "What are you doing at 2:31 p.m.?" Dom says, "Just got home." She says, "Wanna hang?" Dom says, "Maybe." Dom says, "Wanna chill after I go to Trevor's?" Kenzie said, "Yes, I do." "When are you going?" Dom says, "Soon." Dom Dom says, "About to eat some bacon, get some gas, and go." Kenzie said, "Please let me know as soon as you leave." Dom says, "Okay, babe." Kenzie says, "I'm about to eat, so let me know if you want to get food." Dom says, "What are you getting?" "I kind of wanted Chick-fil-A." Kenzie says, "I don't know. I'm really hungry." Dom says, "Okay, I'll talk to you when I leave Trevor's." Kenzie says, "How long?" "I don't know what to wear to school tomorrow. I'm really stressed." I'm just wondering if Kenzie ever ate at home. Like, did Natalie like to cook dinner for her kids or did she just not cook? Like, why doesn't she freaking eat at home? She says, "I'm really stressed." Oh, about her outfit. She said, "I for real just have a lot of anxiety. I hate school." Dom said, "Think about it like this: 90% of people you'll never see again that you've seen in high school." Kenzie said, "It's not the people, it's the teachers and the work. And that doesn't help." Dom says, "Oh, I thought you meant an outfit." Kenzie says, question mark, question mark. Dom said, "What's up?" "My phone was charging." Kenzie says, "When are you leaving Trevor's? You've been there for a while." "Been waiting to eat," she says at 4:39 p.m. "Because you said you wanted Chick-fil-A. I didn't think you were going to be there for a long time." Dom says, "Babe, you could have ate. I still don't have gas. I had Blair drive me. Do you want Swenson's?" Kenzie says, why aren't you just going to get gas?" Dom says, "I didn't want to take the time." Kenzie says, "Bruh, when are you leaving? Because I'm not just going to sit here and wait." Dom says, "Okay, I'll leave in a sec." She says, "My anxiety's bad AF today. I've been on the peak of tweaking the F out all day." Question mark, question mark. This is really annoying as fuck. Then she sends 8 question marks, 3 question marks. She says, I can't find an outfit at 10:38 p.m. Babe, if I take, she says, if I take one more effing day it doesn't give me smoke. I'm for real gonna flip out. I seriously wasted like 4 dabs today because of like barely smoking any smoke coming. I'm just about to break my good saving with. It's hard to sleep without you, babe. What the hell is she saying? What is she talking about? She says, I seriously wasted like 4 dabs today because like barely any smoke is coming. I'm about to just break into my good savings. What the? She says, with. It's hard to sleep without you, babe, at 11:48 p.m. Dom says the next morning, why would you keep taking them? The dabs I give you are expensive AF, like WTF. Your koi are probably just dirty AF too, but don't waste all my good ass dabs. I'll stop giving you them. Kenzie said, okay, at 6:22 a.m. You could have said, don't take any more, babe. I'll figure it out. Dom says, well, if it didn't work the first time, I don't know why you would try 3 more times. I pay $70 a gram every time you want to take a dab or get high. That's $7. Kenzie says, Dom, I didn't take 4 dabs in a row. It was throughout the day. Some of them work, some of them don't. Do you know why I told you? I didn't think you would get mad. Dom says, okay. She says, like, honestly, what the F? I come for you to help and you get mad. What type of shit is that? Dom says, I just got mad because I thought you were wasting my dabs. I'll fuck with it later. Kenzie said, no, babes. I'm very conservative with my babe. I'm very conservative with my babe. I think she meant with my dabs, babe. Dom says, okay, babe. Love you. She says, love you, Dom, baby, at 7:33 a.m. Then at 10:15, she says, can I stop over on the way back from Polaris to get bud? Babe. Dom says, I don't have any, babe. She says, I need just anything. My dab isn't working. Well, it is. It's just not hitting right. Dom says, let me fix it. Kenzie says, babe, I have to go to school and I want to smoke before school. Dom says, I shouldn't even have given you weed. Kenzie says, why? What the F is your issue? I did nothing to you. I tried to give you a kissy and you turned me down. Want me to bring it back? She says. Dom says, well, I didn't know you had school. Just thought you were going to chill and smoke. Kenzie said, bruh, what? I'm home until 11:40. Oh, I'm at home until 11:40. You're confusing the fuck out of me. Dom says, okay. She says, why are you being so mean? Dom says, I don't want to be like that. But you know, I get mad. You can't just come in and be doing that shit. Like you busted in my door for weed while I was laying down, then got snow on my floor. Kenzie says, babe, I busted it in the room because I was excited to see you. Why are you acting like I'm always trying to get you mad? Like when you're mad, it affects me too and literally stresses me out. Why would I want that? Dom says, do you know anything about dinner? He says at 1:32 p.m. Kenzie says, what about? Dom says, never mind. He told us we were all going to dinner. Then he was trying to bring his girl and we wasn't with that. So now he's not. Kenzie says, Miranda told me we're on our way, that we're all going. Dom says, what? Kenzie says, Miranda told me that we're all going to dinner yesterday. Dom says, today? Kenzie says, I don't know when. Dom says, oh, okay. Because we not today. Kenzie says, I thought you were going to tell me, LMAO. So you're not talking about the same thing? Dom says, no, here's what happened. We were all going to go out to dinner today and we're all hyped to go. And then we were like, Kyle, you're going? And then blah, blah, blah. He was like, we're bringing the girls. And I'm like, nah. And B was like, I was going to bring Miranda. So then me, Jared, and Kev like, nah. And then he was like saying stuff. And we like, B, you didn't tell us that we were all hyped for a squad meetup. So then he's like, Miranda, you can't go. Kenzie says, fun. Dom says, yeah. Kenzie said, so you were the one who ruined it for the girls coming. Cool. Dom says, I'm just not going to go. Kenzie said, just go. Who cares? I don't care. Dom says, I don't want to. Kenzie said, why? Dom said, because I just don't want to. Kenzie said, okay, that's fine, but don't be mad at me later because you didn't go. Dom says, okay, question mark. Kenzie says, I'm guessing you don't want to hang out. Dom says, I'm not really doing anything right now. Kenzie said, so yes or no at 3:56 p.m. Dom says, I don't know, probably not, because I still got to go do that. Kenzie says, do what? Dom said, go to dinner. Kenzie said, oh, so still no girls? Dom said, I think they're counting on me for a ride. Kenzie questions her message. Dom says, I mean, yeah, as of right now, yeah. Kenzie said, oh. Dom says, so I ruined it for the girls? Kenzie says, well, yeah. You said no girls. I wanted to go with you. That's at 4:42 p.m. She says, babe, what is happening with you? Dom says, what? Kenzie says, like, why are you being mean as fuck? Tell me why, right now. Like, what did I do? Question mark, question mark. Dom says, I'm not trying to be mean as fuck. Kenzie says, then what the F are you trying to do? Dom says, saying I ruined it for the girls was mean. Question mark. Kenzie says, you've been mean all day. She emphasized the message about the squad meetup. She says, it's not even that, but you did low key. Like, you don't want me to come for no reason. Dom says, I don't even want to go anyway. Kenzie says, babe, go. I'm just saying, you for real been mean to me. Like, why are you not answering? I really hope this doesn't last. Are you for real not going to call? Dom says, what? Kenzie said, okay, cool. When did you give up? Dom says, on what? I'm just having a really bad day. I just felt like shit all day, I guess, he says at 5:16 p.m. But that's like every day for me, lol. Kenzie says, you're just putting in no effort for me, babe. I try so hard to make you happy. I really want to help you. Like, why don't you tell me you feel like shit? That was at 5:17 p.m. She says, I'm done. Dom says, I'm sorry I left you on red. Kenzie said, nah. Dom says, I don't know what to eat. I didn't know what to say, not eat, typo. He says, you're done with what? Kenzie says, when are you going to start being nice? When are you going to start putting effort in me, babe? Like, I feel like you just gave up on me. Dom says, what you done with? Kenzie says, you straight up turned me down on huggies and kissies. This convo. You literally been so mean to me all day, and then you just leave me on red and ignore my calls. Like what you used to do to me last year. Dom says, whatever. I try. Kenzie said, see, you just gave up right there. Like, what happened? Tell me right now. Dom says, I don't like when you bring up old this, old that. I used to do this. I used to do that. Kenzie says, how about you focus on what I'm telling you? This is literally what I'm talking about. I'm about to freak out. Literally, what the fuck? Dom says, what? She says, so we're not hanging today? Never mind. Just never mind. You just want to be mean. Dom says, I'm on the way to Blair's. Kenzie says, cool. Dom says, I'm sorry, babe. I know I've been bad to you, but I'm a work on myself and I'm gonna be better for you, babe. I'll talk to you tomorrow. He says at 1:03 a.m. So he went and hung out with his friends. He says, good morning, babe. I love you. The next morning at 6:50 a.m. She says, love you too, babe. Dom says, babe, my blank hoodies came in. Kenzie said, that's cool AF. Do you have a design yet? He sends a design. He said, kissy lips. Kissy. She says, aw. She says, love you so much. I'm putting my phone away for class at 7:52 a.m. Dom says, I love you too. He says, my peen is almost better. She said, oh my God, that's really good. She said, this sub is pissing me off. Dom says, LOL. Kenzie says, oh my God, you didn't just do that. Like, are you joking me or something? There's no way you just did that. Dom said, is it such a big deal? She says, yeah, it is. What did he do? She says, what are you doing? I don't understand what he did. Let me go back. Did I miss something? Dom says, LOL. Then she says, oh my God, you didn't just do that. Like, are you joking or something? There's no way you just do that. Dom said, "Is it such a big deal?" She says, "Yeah, it is." She says, "What are you doing?" Dom says, "I'm doing stuff with the disty. Check signal." Kenzie says, "KK." I feel like Dom sometimes freaks out because of how, um, like, how controlled he feels by Kenzie. You know, he never has his space. He's always irritated with her. She don't stop harassing him, calling him. I mean, she's texting him at 1, 4 in the morning, and then wakes up at 6 and texts him. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I've always been monetized. Thank you for being here beautifully. Oh, I miss beautifully leaving. I'm reading what you guys are saying. Quit calling it huggies and kissies. Oh, you don't want a huggy and kissy from me? Because he says, KK, smothered is the word I'm thinking. He's always smothered, you know? Kenzie's a match for that poison front man. She needs a crotch rock band. She says, "Oh, maybe it's the settings on today." I don't know. Anyways, help support your girl. Kenzie says, "KK." Dom says, "What are you doing now, babe?" At 5:32 p.m. Kenzie says, "I'm at the mall with Paige. I can come over though." Sends a picture of shoes. She says, "If you get the blue shoes, you can twin with me." Dom says, "Get me them orange ones. What sizes they got?" Kenzie says, "Hold on, I don't have any money. I'm going back now." "What size?" Dom says, "Oh, never mind then. They ain't really worth nothing." "Well, we'll twin with different shoes." Kenzie says, "I can put money on my Cash App. Let me know though." She says, "I have the blue ones." Dom says, "How much are they?" Kenzie says, 190. She says, "Babe, can I take some money off the Cash App for a little outfit for Valentine's Day?" She's literally just freaking she says, "Babe, can I take a little money off the Cash App for a little outfit for Valentine's Day?" No, Kenzie, you can't. But he says, "Of course, babe." When do we ever see her ask her mom for money? Like, go to your mom, Kenzie. Like, for real. Dom says, "Of course, babe. Only if you look super cute." What a good boyfriend. She says, "You already know. You're gonna die. I got a little outfit." Dom says, "Yay." What does that mean? Like lingerie or like a real outfit? She says, "You're gonna love it." Dom says, "As long as you're wearing it." She says, "I want to come over." Dom, babe, babe. He says, "Come over at 7:48 p.m." She says, "I'm on the way." She says, "I'm there." I'm there. I think she meant I'm here. Dom says, "How's it going?" She says, "Stressful." Dom says, "Did you get blood taken?" She says, "Not yet." Dom said, "What is happening so far?" Kenzie says, "I've just been waiting for so long." Dom says, "Damn, I hate that." Kenzie said, "It's so annoying. I just pissed in a cup." Dom says, "Let me get a sip." What? Kenzie says, "Okay, here." She says, "They want me to get blood work." I don't want it. Dom says, "Just tell them not to take a lot." She says, "I'm scared. I don't want to get it." Babe. Dom says, "Babe, you will be okay. I had it done twice. It's not bad. Just relax." Kenzie says, "I done it a lot." Dom says, "Wim Hof." She says, "I am just scared. I don't know how. I forgot." Dom said, "Just Wim Hof, deeply in the stomach." She says, "I'm so stressed right now." What's the app? Dude, it's just blood work. I don't get it. She has champagne taste and no wallet. That's funny. Nemo said that is funny. Hmm. Like, she says, "What's the app?" She says, Dom says, "Deeply in the stomach, then in the chest." We should do a Wim Hof live. Dom says, "Then let it go." For those of you who don't know, Wim Hof is a breathing technique, and we do utilize it here on Milliverse. It's actually very helpful. And it helps you calm your ass down. So definitely practice Wim Hof method. Okay. Let me explain to you. It's a technique designed to improve mental and physical well-being through 3 to 4 rounds of controlled hyperventilation, 30 to 40 deep breaths. Okay. This is like no basic shit. This is like meditation, like you better have some good lungs type shit, followed by breath retention. It is often used to reduce stress, boost energy, and enhance cold tolerance by activating the nervous system and altering the blood chemistry. Dom says Wim Hof. Wim Hof method, he says. Then he sends a screenshot. He said, "It's rough. It's right next to WhatsApp." Kenzie says, "Got it." Dom says, "Deeply in the stomach, then the chest and head, then let go, not fully exhale, just let go. Make the breathing circle." Kenzie says, "Okay, I'll try. I don't know. I'm scared." Dom says, "You'll be okay." She says, "They want me to get an IV now in my arm. I wish you would hear my mom is not helping at all." Dom says, "That's for the blood." Kenzie said, "And to put fluids in me." Dom says, "I'm sorry, babe. I should have came." He says, "Oh." She says, "I'm scared." Dom says, "Just let them, babe." She says, "I don't wanna. It's gonna hurt." She says, "I'm crying." Oh, for the love of dude. Okay. Jen says I'm gonna practice it. Jen, you're hilarious. Mm. Uh, that's hilarious. She says, "I'm crying." Dom says, "I wish I was there. I would hold you." Dom says, "Do it for me." Kenzie says, "Babe, I'm really scared." Dom says, "Get it done for me. If you do good, I'll get you something." Like, what a good boyfriend. He's like, "Just shut the fuck up and get your blood drawn, you big fat baby." Um, I get it. Some people are scared of needles. Kenzie's just being an ass. Dom says, "If you do good, I'll get you something." She sends, oh my gosh, she's sending a little selfie and she has a mask on because it's like, I think COVID times, right? I don't know. I don't remember. Dom says, "Or take you somewhere." "Babe, relax. Nothing will happen." Kenzie said, "It's going to hurt really bad." Dom says, "Babe, it doesn't." She says, Kenzie says, "Babe, I got an IV this last summer." Dom says, "Babe, I don't know what to say. You knew you were going to get blood work. At least let them take the blood." She says, "I didn't know it would be an IV." It's the same thing, dude. They just don't draw your blood for an IV. Where's Natalie Shirilla? Like, this is when Natalie Shirilla should be calming her daughter down. How annoying. She says, "You have to or nothing." Dom says, "You have to or nothing is gonna get better. You don't do this and you're gonna regret it. No regrets." Kenzie sends a picture of the doctor's office. She says, "They're trying to do it right now. I'm so scared." Dom says, "It's okay, babe." She says, "They're filling 4 tubes." Dom says, "Do you want to talk on the phone?" Kenzie said, "Yes." He said, "4 tubes? Why?" Kenzie says, "I don't know. It hurts so bad. I'm shaking." Dom says, "Did you get it done?" "It's okay, babe. It's over now. I'm proud of you, babe." She said, "It's hurting. I'm in hella pain." Dom says, "Babe, you'll be okay." Kenzie says, "The fact that you laughed when I told you what's wrong with me." Oh, okay, wait. So he says, "Babe, you'll be okay," at 1:38. So I wonder if she called him or something. Because then at 3:13, she says, "The fact that you laughed when I told you what's wrong with me, and then you didn't even care enough to text or call me back after I hung up on you." So she called him and he was laughing at her. If she's having her blood drawn, they're using a butterfly. An IV. I know. Can you believe it? She's afraid of blood work, but not afraid to drive her car into a wall at a Thank you, Edith. Thank you. Yeah, she's afraid of blood work, but she'll drive her car 100 miles per hour and she'll smoke a blunt 100 miles per hour too. Well, we don't know how fast she was going in all those TikToks, but you get the point. She says, "And then didn't even care enough to text or call me back after I hung up on you." She says, "You know how much this has been affecting me." Dom says, "I laughed?" "Well, babe, you're mad because I went to Blair's, babe. It's okay. It's not going to affect you at all. All you have to do is smoke CBD during the day and you can still smoke weed and you'll get more high off weed too." Kenzie says, "Like, if you could just got out of the hospital, I will be rushing to come see you." Dom says, "Babe, I'm sorry. I promised other people shit too. I kind of have to talk to Trevor. I won't be there long though." Kenzie says, "Okay, I would think I'm the most important or at least a top priority." Dom says, "You are, but Trevor's been stressed. I'm at Trevor's, leaving in a little." Then he says, "I'm home at 5:02 p.m." Kenzie says, "I'm with Megan and Haley at the mall." Wait, she's upset because he laughed at her and he wasn't there for her and she was in so much pain, but now she's at the mall. She says, "I'm at the mall." Dom says, "For sure. Get me food," he says. Kenzie says, "I will." Dom said, "In some underwear." Kenzie said, "What size?" Dom says, "Medium. Boxer briefs." Kenzie said, "Love you so much." Dom says, "Love you too, babe." She says, "What brand?" At 5:08 p.m. Then she says, "Can I come now?" "Babe?" "Dom?" 6 question marks. "Okay." 9. "Okay, I'm falling asleep if you don't answer. I don't know what is going on," she says at 8:19 p.m. Dom says, "Yeah, I've just been laying down." Kenzie says, "Are you okay?" Dom says, "I fell asleep at like 7, but yeah, I'm okay," he says at midnight. She says, "Hi, babe." She says, I'm about to fall asleep," she says. Dom says, "Me too. Talk tomorrow. Good night, babe. Love you," at 1 in the morning. Kenzie says, "I love you, babe. Good morning," at 7:35 a.m. Dom says, "Good morning, babe. Love you." She says, "What are you doing? What you want to do today?" Dom says, "I don't know. I just got up, gotta do laundry." Dom says, "I kind of need a new phone too. Did you get underwear for me?" Kenzie says, "Yeah, I did." Dom says, "Bet." Kenzie says, "Why do you need a new phone?" "I kind of need one too." Dom says, "Because I broke my other one." Kenzie said, "Oh shit." Dom said, "Check Snap." That was 9:28 a.m. Then he says later in the day at 5:43, "You good?" Dom says, "I'm about to not have an outfit. Like this isn't going well." She says at 8:27 p.m. Kendra Def isn't helping. Dom says, "Babe, it's an outfit. Just wear one you wore a while ago." Kenzie says, "Babe, I have no ideas. I feel like I'm just be sitting here doing nothing." Dom says, "Babe, you're just def making it harder on yourself than it needs to be. You can def find an outfit. You have hella outfits." Kenzie says, "Nothing is standing out to me. I don't want to wear any of this stuff." And Kendra, most annoying mother effer to have help pick out an outfit. And I have no starts. This is just terrible. Tom says, "It can't always stand out to you." Kenzie says, "Babe, well, it needs to be, or I won't be able to be comfy." Dom says, "Why comfy?" Kenzie says, like, you could have just came and helped me real quick. Dom says, no, babe. Kenzie says, yes, babe. Dom says, you can dress yourself. Dom says, Kenzie says, I would have helped you. She says, okay, cool. She always is so worried about her outfits. You guys realize that? Like the whole time, the whole 3 years we read text messages. She's so concerned with her outfit because she wanted best dress, remember? The first thing in the morning, I'd be done on day one, right? Any guy or girl would not put up with her. Dom was a saint. You can say that again. She got to spend a lot of time downtown when she was in jail. You're right. All she really cared about was the rugs anyways. She's so freaking dramatic. Well, I know. She is. She's so I can't stand her. I know. She has no start. She has no start. Remember when I didn't know what that was? That's funny. See how far we've come, babelets? And now there's a whole last documentary coming out. And we've been reading these text messages way before that. She says, okay, cool. Dom says, I'm sorry, but I can't tie your shoes every day. Thank you. Jeez, I love when Dom says this kind of stuff. When he snaps back at her. Abuelita. No start because she's weird in the waist. I can't believe this is why she I don't know why it's such a big deal, dude. What is it? A start. It's like isn't it like the main pieces of the outfit? Right? That's what a start is considered. It's like the main pieces of the outfit that help put the rest of it together. I don't freaking know. That's what I thought it was. I could be wrong. I might not be cool like Kenzie. Dom says, I'm sorry, but like I can't tie your shoes every day, ho. He didn't say ho, I said that. Kenzie says, I'm not asking you to tie my shoes. I'm asking you to help pick an outfit. Well, 5 outfits, so my week is less stressful. I don't know what's so hard about all of this. She's trying to have him put together 5 outfits. So I don't know what that means. I think that's what that means. Don't come to me. I'm not fashionista the belt. I don't know. Where you start. Yes, Melly. Oh, is that what it is, I'm saying? Yeah. So like if say she has like a shirt, that's like the start, okay? And then that will put her in the right direction for her bottoms. And then her socks, and then her shoes. I guess. I'll think about that tomorrow if I have a start. She says, I need you to help me pick out 5 outfits. I don't know what's so hard about all of this. Like, if you asked me to help you, I would help you, but I guess it's only one-sided. Dom says it's a figure of speech. And no, it's not one-sided. You just make it really hard for yourself. I've helped you. My sneeze keeps going away. I've helped you before, but I'm not losing sleep over what you wear to school. Yeah, and it's to school. It's not even like she's going out. I'd be more worried about going out, I guess. She says my anxiety is at its lowest when my anxiety is at its lowest when I look good. Oh, wow. So start is the base of your outfit. Thank you, Nemo. Thank you. Yeah, I know. She's got severe self-consciousness. I think it goes with her eating disorder. That's based in money socially. Oh, okay. He needed colloidal silver cream. Thank you, May. Okay, you're right. 5 Y5 outfits. Oh, for each day a week, Monday through Friday. She's so annoying. Yeah, Robert. Because inside Kenzie's head, she believes the world is watching. She thinks she's a model. Okay, I wanna go through the TikToks. We should do that tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do 2 Kenzie lives. I'm back at it. I'm back at it like a bad habit because the documentary coming out, I wanna start over all over the case all over again. Is that psycho? He's trying to have an adult conversation with her, and it's impossible. I know. She says, "My anxiety is at its lowest when I look good." She says, "Damn, you're not even sleeping right now." Dom says, "Kenzie, you remember?" Kenzie says, "Stop acting like you're not watching the game or hanging out with everyone. Like, I have to beg for help. I shouldn't have to beg." Dom says, "You have to beg for help to get dressed? Like, come on, Kenzie." Sends a screenshot. She says, "You still don't get it." He sends another screenshot. She says, "I'm for real done." Dom said, 17 minutes, babe. Kenzie said, "Okay, babe, next time you're mad AF, I'm gonna Google how long it takes for someone to not be mad." Oh, that's what the screenshots were of. He Googled that. That's hilarious. She says, "Well, the average time. I'm just gonna start doing that for anything you do. So you better hope you do it the average time." Dom says, "I can't find it." Kenzie sends a screenshot. She says, "So you have 20 minutes, so chill out, bedtime." Oh, chill out next time, she said, typo. Bedtime. She says, like, "Let's not make my issues seem smaller because you don't give a single fuck about them." He sends another screenshot. Dom says, "I do. You should just figure out what to wear on your own. Just how I should figure out how not to be angry on my own. I don't ask you to help me not be angry." Kenzie says, "You're literally an asshole." Dom says, "How?" Kenzie says, "If you cared about my anxiety and stress, you would help. And you wouldn't have Googled how long. I'm not the fucking average person," she says. "And I will never be." Really, Kenzie? Who are you? Like all that in a bag of chips? Abuelita says she gives foot massages to saggy balls. Okay, that's funny. Fortunately, Melly isn't forcing us to look at McCrazy's model pictures. I have them right here, babies. I have them right here. I've been wanting to go through the TikToks with you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're gonna go through Kenzie's TikToks. Yeah, we're gonna do that just for Asani. Because I know you guys love when she's modeling. Modeling. Abuelita killed me with that one, dude. That was funny. For those of you who are new to the Kenzie case, because I'm sure some replay viewers are, Kenzie used to do some weird feet sex type of thing, allegedly. I don't know. Don't come to me. I haven't done it. I can't tell you what it's like. I can't give you my experience. So, yes, Green-eyed, we're gonna get into that this week. Um, she says, "I'm not the fucking average person, and I never will be. So understand or don't, because I'm willing to help you through all your issues. You just have to help me through mine." Dom says, "I will help at 9:00 p.m. But getting dressed, you do on your own." Kenzie says, "Wow." Dom says, "I just don't think it's something I should help with." Dom says, "I don't," Kenzie says, "I don't give a fuck what you think." Dude, it's like okay to ask your partner, your booty call, or whatever it is, to like, "Oh, does this look good? Do I look cute?" Like, bitch, I ain't helping you pick out 5 outfits. Just kidding. I mean, I might if you ask nicely, but anyways, she says, "I don't give a fuck what you think. I didn't ask what do you think one time. I didn't ask what do you think one time. I asked if you could help me pick 5 outfits for this week so I don't have to stress about it before bed like this," she says. And of course, that's what you say. Never ask me for help again. You can help me. You can never help me with this shit. Dom says, I said send me pictures. Kenzie says, like maybe if you considered my issues important, but of course you don't because it doesn't mean anything to you. Dom says, babe, it's literally an outfit. Kenzie says, like your issues are my top priority. You are literally doing it again. Dom says, I help you with anything else that I can. Kenzie says, stop gaslighting. Dom says, I don't know what gaslighting is. Kenzie says, cool. The one thing, the hardest that I got, the hardest that I, Kenzie, can you learn how to fucking spell? Let's hope she learns that. Okay, being in the department of prison. The hardest thing that I got this week, every week you can't help with. It's like if you were asking me this, I would help and be there as long as you need. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, or just stop answering because he didn't respond to her bullshit. Dom says, I'm not good at helping you with it. You can send me pics. I'll tell you what I like. Because he said, well, it's effing hard over the phone. If you just came with me in the first place, it would have been a lot easier. But no, you had to stay. Like, I can't even fucking pick out a shirt. That sounds like a Kenzie problem. Like, how do you not know? Pick out your own shirt. Gas station photo shoot. I know I still need to do it. I went to a gas station. When I tried it that one time, it wasn't cute. And then I haven't tried again because I need help with my outfits. Send these into the parole board. I know, abuelita. You're right. Whatever, Robert. Now you decide you're over her, Kenzie. Fine. Forget it. Really made me laugh. Maybe she'll learn how to spell. Yeah, maybe she'll go to school and do her own homework in prison. Jeez, I hope she utilizes it and gets a degree in there. Anyways, Dom says, okay, well, the football game is on and I'm tired. Kenzie says, you say I'm a top priority and then you say shit like that. Dom says, let's look it up on Google. Kenzie said, I think she meant let's not effing do that because that shit doesn't help. Oh yeah, she put let's not. Do you know I'm just going to be done texting you if you keep going on Google for answers? Dom says, I'm about to get mad for real. Like, I don't get it. Like, what makes the outfit hard? Like, it couldn't be that hard. Kenzie says, of course you just don't get it. Dom says, of course I don't. I don't get it for real. You pick black pants. Okay, what matches with black? Etc. etc. Okay, what shoes match with both of those? Etc. etc. Then, okay, jacket. Dom is funny. R.I.P. Dom. I wish you had the opportunity to date someone good for you. Kenzie says no. Dom says done. Kenzie said, see, you just get mad anytime I ask for help. Like, what the fuck? So comforting. Dom says, bruh, I'm going to bed. Kenzie said, okay, so you're not going to help? Question mark. Dom says, I told you to send me pics. If not, then yes, I'm not helping. Kenzie says, how can I send you pics when I can't even pick one item? So you're going to do me like that? Dom says, how are you ever going to get dressed on your own? This whole fight about her not knowing how to pick out her outfit is absolutely ridiculous. Bitch, like get a pair of black leggings. I don't know. Where are you going? To the Grammys? The ghetto Grammys? Because that's all you would be going to. Okay. Let me know. I'll get back to you, Green-Eyed, tonight. You're capable, Melly. I believe in you. And what? What did I do? Oh, picking out my outfit? Yes. Yes, I am capable. He says, how are you ever going to get dressed on your own if you can't even pick one item? Kenzie says, I'm so done talking to you. You can't even effing think for 1 second to understand. I'm done trying to explain this to you. You don't even care. Dom says, "Wear the red polo pants I got you." And okay. Dom says, "'Cause this is really putting me in a shitty mood." It's 9:15 PM at night. He's trying to go to bed too. He says, "I feel like shit every day anyways, so who cares?" Like, I'm about to effing freak out. Like, the F, I sent you a K for your birthday. You def have clothes to wear. Oh, I spent $1,000 on you for your birthday. You def have clothes to wear. I used to wear the same joggers 3 times a week in 7th grade. Who cares what you wear? Yeah, Kenzie, you ignorant ass. She says, "Oh my God, it's not about not having clothes. You're not listening to me." Dom says, "So you have clothes. You just can't match the colors?" Kenzie said, "If I, myself, does not feel comfy plus confident in my outfit, I will have a bad day and will stress out all day. No, it's not about anyone but me. And you probably don't get it." Dom says, "So how do I help you with that? Because I've never been able to help you. The, there's been nights. It's 9 PM." Kenzie said, "Well, if you just came here like I begged you to, you could have just picked a few outfits with me. But no." Dom says, "You keep me up till 12 with your outfits." "Babe, no, I'm tired AF. Even right now, I want to go to bed." Like the fuck? Kenzie says, "Well, I left at 8. So it's too late now." Dom says, "You know I'm uncomfortable." Kenzie says, "We could have had them all picked out by now." Dom says, "You know, I don't even want to drive in the cold." Kenzie says, "Your car literally pre-starts." Dom says, "You know, I don't want to be half asleep at your house, then have to drive home in the cold." Kenzie says, "You can start your car from inside the house. You wouldn't care about any of those things if you cared about my stress." Dom says, "It doesn't get totally warm." Kenzie says, "I will do all that shit to come help you pick out outfit. I don't care how cold or how late it is." Dom says, "I'm not losing sleep over clothes." Kenzie says, "I would do it for you because you mean a lot to me. You know what? Never mind. Go the F to bed. I don't even care." Dom says, "Like, come on. If you were hurt or hungry, you know I'm on the way or something else, but it's an outfit. Here, I'll study the science of girls not being able to pick an outfit, and I'll pick your outfits every week. Just give me 3 to 4 months at least. And yeah, I'm going to bed because my eyes hurt from looking at my phone too long, but you didn't understand that for 3 years, anyways." Kenzie says, "No, I completely understand that the light hurts your eyes. Nothing is confusing about that. And this is one of my most important things. This is what helps me get my day on track. No, I'm not going to get no fucking sleep and I have a full day tomorrow. Like, nah, now I'm stressed off my effing ass and I'm probably going to smoke to calm down. I don't even want to smoke. I'm about to flip the F out." Dom says, "Cool." Kenzie said, "Okay, bye. Go the F to bed then." Dom says, "Now I didn't even watch the football game and I'm mad." Kenzie says, "I'm sorry my mental health makes you mad. You're the first person who I ask for help, but I just won't ask anymore." Dom says, "As much as I love you, my mental health comes first because I try every day." Kenzie said, "Don't do this. Do not do this over this." Dom said, "So hard not to freak out. And if you're going to push me," Kenzie says, "do not threaten me with this." Dom says, "My mental health comes first. I'm not just going to let you stress me out and make me mad when that's the first thing I deal with every day," he says at 9:30 PM. Kenzie says, "Dom, me asking you for help shouldn't stress you out or make you mad." Dom says, "Yes, I know. That's why it's a problem. My mental health first. But dot 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 your outfit isn't excusable. Yeah, if you ask me to help you with something important, let's say drive you to school." Kenzie said, "This is important." Dom says, "I do that shit." Kenzie said, "For me." Dom says, but some outfit." Kenzie says, if you really do over this, Dom says, not as important. So point is, the problem is like problem 1 out of 10. I'm not gonna let you stress me out, waste my time, make me angry. Kenzie said, no, it's not. Dom said, over 1/10 problems. You feel me? That's the first thing you do when you get up. Kenzie said, what is? Dom says, you shower, go to the bathroom, get dressed, eat. Those all things every human should be able to do on their own. So figure that out first. Then do the rest of whatever you got to do. Kenzie says, how do I love you so much even though you talk to me like that? Listen, dude, here's the problem. Here's the problem. This whole part right here is the problem. Like, where's Natalie Shirilla? Why is she like this? Why is Dom stepping in as the parent and as the boyfriend? Like, I'm sick of Kenzie's shit. Yeah, please hit the like button right now. A straight jacket would look cute on her, says Abuelita. No, like for real. If we're fighting about, listen, Linda, yeah, if we're fighting about fucking clothes like this, listen. I'm with Dom on this part. Like, that's absolutely crazy, dude. He says, because we were made for each other, babe. Kenzie says, it hurts so bad knowing no one will understand how I feel. No one ever does or ever will, even doctors. You're right, Kenzie. You're right. Here we go. You admitted it. I'm glad they included in this. Yeah, the doctors don't even know what's wrong with you, honey. You're flipping out about an outfit. I know it probably goes much deeper than the outfit, right? But like still, it wasn't a reason to kill Dom. Dom says, then how do you expect anyone else to help? You have to help yourself. If I'm sitting there angry AF, anything anyone says to me doesn't help me or usually makes me more angry. We've been texting for an hour now. It's not helping. Like literally, you're just going backwards. And I'm missing the game. Pick some pants, then shirt, then shoes, then jacket, and you're done. Easy as that. Kenzie says, I don't even want to say more. I just been laying on the floor staring into my wall. I don't even want to go to school tomorrow. Like, I don't have the motivation. I can't even do schoolwork or focus. And my math and English teacher make me feel so dumb. Dom says, you have two choices every day. Kenzie says, especially math. She finds every way to just makes me look like an R word. RETARD. I do not say that word. Dom says, keep dreaming on things you want or get up and get them. And he says, school is our word. Have at least 1/3 of kids believing they dumb. You're not failing. The system is failing you. Kenzie says, yes, I am. She says, oh, like I try to ask my English teacher for help and she doesn't even help. She acts like she doesn't understand what I'm asking. Kenzie, when you go into class smelling like a big fat blunt and like a 10 sack of weed, your teacher's probably gonna be like annoyed a little bit, you know? She says, she acts like she doesn't understand what I'm asking. I have no friends. Dom says, and if she makes you feel dumb, tell her she's a see you next Tuesday and go to the principal and record it. Show the principal exactly what happens. Kenzie said, well, friends that I can talk to, the girls I trust or that have interest in me. I have a video of my math teacher dogging me in front of the whole class. Dom says, you have to let go of old friends and memories to evolve into new friends and memories. Okay, we'll go show that to the principal. Make a change.org to get her fired. Put it on TikTok. There's things you can do and you're not doing them. Kenzie says, I just don't have the motivation. I honestly just feel worthless. I know I'm not. Dom says, you don't have motivation because you smoke so much weed you can't think. Why is Dom the parent here? Like, Melly, yeah, no, Altoid is going to cover. You know what? I had a teacher in high school who always used to tell me, like, I know you smoked. And I'm like, and he's like, just don't do it before class. Like, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, Okay. Yeah, hi, Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Dom says, "You don't have motivation because you smoke so much weed you can't think. I've told you this. Get up and smoke weed at 7 AM. This is what happens." Oh. Yeah, I can't believe that she didn't. I know, right? Yeah, tell her, Dom. She says, "And I don't have a hard time picking an outfit every week. It only happens sometimes." Dom says, "I told you this. I told you. I've been through it. You're feeling worthless because that's how you're treating yourself. It's been an hour," he says, "of texting me. Dot, dot, dot." Kenzie says, "I don't mind texting for an hour." Dom says, "I'm mad." Mad, he says. Kenzie said, "I'm sorry, my mental health is not doing good right now. Like I've had a rough couple days. Give me a break." I believe it. Maybe her mental health isn't good. Therefore, you should have got the help you needed, Kenzie slash Natalie. Dom says, "All these problems right in your reach. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be a dick and you're going to listen because I sugarcoat everything. So, look, here's what you're going to do. You're going to stop smoking weed right now. You're going to smoke tonight. You smoked enough today. You ain't smoking tomorrow till at least 3. Then, right now, you're going to get up and you're going to pick an outfit or at least throw something together. Then you're going to get ready and go to bed." Kenzie says, "I need to shower or at least wash my hair." Dom says, "Shower right now or wake up and shower." Kenzie says, "I've just been sitting on my closet floor, babe. I really don't think I'm going to be able to pick an outfit. I wake up at 6:20. I don't have enough time in the morning. I can do it now." Dom says, "Shower right now, get up and shower, go grab a glass of water. You're probably dehydrated. Then get in the shower. Don't think about shit. That's your problem. That's the anxiety. Something you're about to do. Do you think then just like this? Probably." What? There's a typo. He says dot, 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 more dot, dot, dots, exclamation marks. He's typing a bunch of random words. He says, "But look, if you just do instead of think, then it goes like this." And he puts IDUDHD dot, dot, dot. He says, "Outfit. Front, sit in the mirror an hour. Put together, boom, you good. Then leave." Kenzie says, "I'm about to wash my hair, babe. And I don't know. You are helping calm me down, though, a lot." Dom says, she puts a little emoji face. She says, "Are you going to bed?" At 10 o'clock p.m. "Keep texting me." He doesn't respond. She says, "Okay, or don't." "Are you for real?" Dom says, "Go wash your hair." She says, "I'm out." What the hell? She washed her hair. Dom says, "Go wash your hair" at 10:02. She says, at 10:15, "I'm out." Dom says, "Okay, now pick an outfit." Kenzie says, "I have laundry to do. I really want to smoke." Dom says, "What you should do is not smoke all day till you have all your shit done. Smoke, then sleep like a baby." Kenzie says, "Well, I'm waiting on laundry and my stomach hurts really bad and I have nothing to do." Dom says, "If your stomach hurts, you shouldn't smoke." Kenzie says, "I feel like it usually helps." Dom says, "This is what you've been waiting for. I'm telling you, this is your time." Kenzie says, "But I may be wrong." Dom says, "To figure yourself out. You are the one. Yeah, it probably does a little. I think that's what Chris said." Kenzie says, "It's so weird." Dom says, "But you have to keep smoking more and more." Kenzie said, "My stomach makes no sense." Dom says, "I know. I kind of get how it works. It hurts, you smoke. Then it feels better. Then it hurts worse. It's a cycle." Kenzie says, "I might like to vape to make not smoking easier." And yeah, she says, "That's exactly it." Dom says, "Nah, don't vape, babe. Let me research it tomorrow. Hypermesis, probably too much THC." Kenzie says, "Babe, I need something to inhale." Dom says, "Maybe you can do like a CBD vape juice or CBD dabs." Kenzie says, "I don't know. Last time I got a CBD cart, it was gross as F. I'm willing to try other shit." Dom said, "That's because you got it from a bad source." Kenzie says, "True." Dom says, "We'll find you good stuff." or we can literally just make it. Kenzie says, it's going to suck seeing you smoke and I can't. She says, how? Dom says, you can make all that shit easy. Just get CBD flower, then isolate it, then infuse with whatever you're doing. Kenzie says, I don't know. This all just sucks. I just want to get high. Dom says, you can get high, just not every single 3 hours. Chris had hyperemesis. He doesn't have it anymore. It will go away. Kenzie says, I've had it since January 2020 without even knowing. Like, who knows how bad it is? Because I'm praying to God it goes away soon. Dom says, yours isn't even bad. Kenzie says, to me it is. It straight sucks. Dom says, I can't be on the phone any longer. I love you, babe. Kenzie says, I love you. Dom says, my eyes are closed. LOL. Kenzie says, good. Good typer for closed eyes. LOL. Dom says, I looked for a sec. Kenzie says, LOL. She says, I'm so mad right now. Dom says, what's up? She says, so I thought my black juicy couture tracksuit was in the wash, but it was literally not. And I waited 2 hours for all my laundry to be done. And now my mom has to stay up late and finish the laundry. Dom says, that's terrible. Wow. He says, that's terrible. Kenzie says, wow. Question mark, question mark. We're going to stop there for tonight. Wow, we almost got through all of January. Whoop, whoop. We're on a roll here. Oh, Shug. I've missed you, Shug. Thank you for the super. I've missed these. Yes, we're going to re-review like everything again. We started the text today again. We're going to get through all of them. I want to be, thank you for the super. I appreciate you. I want to do body cam again too. I want to go through reports again too. So are you guys down for a little Kenzie, a little recap? I know we did one in like August or September. I don't remember, but yes, I'm obsessed. I have a surprise coming for you guys too. I won't be telling you what it is tonight. One of my sons get very anxious when he smokes, so he stopped. Yeah, it does happen, Alicia. It's me with this girl. I know. We've been live for 2.5 hours. You restarted the restart. Yes, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆. Thank you, Crease. Yes, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆, almost to February. So tomorrow we will do February and we will probably do body cam tomorrow as well. So yay. I know we're obsessed with this case. Let me look into it. Thank you, Tia. Good to see you, love. Let me look into, oh, my chapstick. Let me look into where we're going to stream the documentary. And once I do, I will figure it out and let you guys know so we can hopefully watch together. I know I'll probably watch with you guys and then I'll probably watch again by myself, but I definitely want to look into that. So let's get it poppin'. This was fun hanging out with all of you. I know, Alicia, we've missed you. You're not allowed to leave us ever again. Okay? Thank you. I think you can also use Vimeo. I don't even know what that is, but okay. The Netflix one, yes, 𝗠𝗲𝗍𝗍 to stream the doc. If I could do Discord or Patreon, I might do that. Thank you, Angie. Love you. I love when you play Kenzie. Have a good night. Okay, sounds good. I'll look into it and I'll let you guys know so we could definitely get that to, yeah, I would love to watch that with you, babelets. I really would. Anyways, shout out to everyone except Kenzie. But I hope you guys have a good night. I might, oh, we gotta do TikToks. I'm gonna start dropping some Kenzie shorts, but I'll save the TikToks till we'll review them because I don't think, let me review because they might have music too. So let me look into it, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. We have Lauren, 𝗝𝗆𝗆, Kenzie tomorrow. I might skip David for tomorrow unless there's like breaking news, but I need to finish a couple other cases and lives that we've been trying to get out of the way. And I know Old Days wants me to get to Jody, so we might as well do that at some point this week. So shout out to you guys. I will see you on the next live. Thank you for being here and make sure you guys tap the like button on the way out and shout out to all the replay viewers as well. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.